financial partner brings to you Beyond the Mortgage.
Affordable rates, affordable price, NCCU, everything nice. Go do a course, go take a trip. Beyond the Mortgage 246. You take the mortgage already, to make your pocket go empty. Beyond the Mortgage, NCCU will keep you steady. You need to buy a new fridge, you want to purchase a city. Get rid of medical bills and invest in the green energy. Beyond the Mortgage, beyond the mortgage, beyond the mortgage. Everything nice, beyond the mortgage, beyond the mortgage, beyond the mortgage. NCCU for life. 246, yes, 246. Wow, 246.
Beyond the Mortgage, 2% savings, 4% retirement solutions, loans available at 6%, and our special BTM line of credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Heal & Go is an all-natural hair care and skincare company founded in 2021 by our CEO, Jael Burney. Just a girl looking for natural products to enhance her hair and skin, Heal & Go was born. Heal & Go started with the Shea Rosemary Hair Moisturizer, the flagship item, which is every girl's dream of a moisture-locking, detangling hair dressing. This can be used when braiding the hair or twisting the hair. The African Black Soap Shampoo made with African Black Soap and Marshmallow Root is a deep cleansing shampoo. It is coupled also with the Aloe Vera Leave-In Conditioner, which is made of aloe vera, coconut oil, and it is the hydrating ingredient needed when keeping up a wash and go. Our next item is the Revitalizing Scalp Treatment, which is made of 13 different essential and carrier oils to enhance the scalp, help with scalp issues, and also help with hair growth. We added items like rose water to our line, and rose water can be used on the hair and on the skin. On the hair as a refresher and on the skin as an astringent or helping with makeup. Other items include the hair jelly, which helps with keeping the edges intact and keeping away frizz from the hair. We also have hydrating hair milk, which is like a moisturizer for the hair. And all these items can be found in bundles on our website, or they are also sold separately in different sizes to enhance your varying hair care needs. You can find our product at healandgo.com.
Good evening, welcome, come on down, good evening, welcome one and all. It is Friday, it's not my usual time to be on the program. Usually we're here more towards the earlier part of the week, but schedules be scheduling, and we just love rolling with the punches. This is how we do. My name is Jael Joseph, and it's lovely to be back on here with you guys. Those of you joining me wherever you're tuned in, a few of you I see, I love that a few of you are logging on to our YouTube, because this is where we primarily grab all of our comments from. So if you're viewing on YouTube, I'll be pulling your comments, your questions, and everything that you have to say. I will be interacting with you on there. I also want to say good evening to the folks who are on Facebook. We have quite a few folks logging in on Facebook. So we're streaming on Jael Joseph Live. We're on Jael Joseph. We're on Black Island Girl Multimedia. We're also on LinkedIn. I still want to say good evening to those of you who are on LinkedIn. You'll be dropping on and sharing with us. We got an interesting show for you here this evening. I normally do my my reviews. Before I get into it, let me just get the folks to just let me know where you're locked in or locked in from. Chime in and let me know where you're connected to us from. So just drop a line, Let me know you there now. So I know you're not. I'm not there by myself. You check. Um, come on in. Come on down. I always do my reviews. I review events. I review videos. I run my mouth. That's what I do. And I felt it was necessary to have a panel of people who also have an opinion and probably have a view and have a stake in events, entertainment, fashion, culture, that sort of stuff in Dominica. And at least some of the most influential people, some of the ones you hear a lot about or are talked about. It was not easy getting the ones we got, but I'm happy to say that we have four wonderful individuals joining us here this evening. Um, Friday night is a really tough night to get people because I think people just want to I guess, drink their rum or something. But it's a Lent, so I would expect everybody to not be drinking rum. But that's another story. So I'm so grateful that they took time out of their busy schedules because they're all very busy entrepreneurs. And they've decided to come on here and share with us their opinions, their views of Carnival 2025. It was deemed as one of the most successful carnival seasons for us in Dominica, the Nature Isle. My light is doing something. It's that. I don't know what's going on. My light is doing a little something that I'm not really liking. But yeah, so it was deemed one of the most successful carnival seasons, our celebrations, and we saw a lot of visitors walking into our island. We saw Bouillon Music doing really wonderful. I mean, Bouillon Music has been on an incline since last year, earlier last year, actually year before, but into last year. And then we've seen, you know, uh, over the years, we've had more carnival bands. Well, one carnival band did drop off this year, but we've had more bands. We've had bigger bands. The bands were a lot bigger this year. We have t-shirt bands. We have so many things to talk about. So the conversation, I promised, will be interesting this evening. Oh, thank you, Misha. Thank you, Tamara. Misha is here. Tamara is here. Thanks for coming in. We have a quite an interesting evening this evening. I will start the conversation and we'll just kind of get each other's feedbacks and on what they think. Again, you know, everybody's entitled to their opinions, and I believe that we should be respectful of people's opinions. We should also be mindful that some people can can respond in their official capacities because they would have a stake in based on their various capacities, based on their various organizations, or even what their line of work, what the fields that they're affiliated with. So just bear all of this in mind. This is meant for good conversation, great dialogue. This is not a bashing situation. This is a learning opportunity. This is a moment to reflect, a moment to think about, the last couple of months, what we could have done better, what we did really great, um, and just get a sense of what we can look forward to in the near future. So I want to welcome my guests who are coming in from various, like I mentioned, they're from various organizations or entities or in various capacities. So first and foremost, I want to welcome on Damien Sorrento. Hello, Damien.
Hi, good evening, Jael. How are you doing?
I am well. How are you?
Good, not too bad at all.
Good to have you. Good to have you on. Just briefly introduce the public to you. Who is Damien Sorrento?
Okay, so yeah, I'm Damian Sorrento. I'm a co-founder and director of Infinite Entertainment Inc. That's an event promotions company in Dominica. We produce the events Rise and Wine during independent season, also Amped during the Carnival season, which is one of our newer brands. and we're also part of the Viva la Carnival Dominica planning team. I'm also a co-founder and director of Twisted Entertainment, that's based in Barbados, that produces the popular brand Tipsy Barbados, Tipsy Miami. We've done Tipsy London now, and you never know where next you're going to see a Tipsy. So that is who I am. I just want to big up my fellow directors of Infinite Entertainment Inc. That's Stephen Lander, Malcolm Pendenk, and Aswad Polido.
Fantastic. It's nice to have you on
Nice
to
to be.
share with us here this evening. I want to bring on next, I want to bring on Dada. Hi, Dada.
Hey Jael, hey Jael, what you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Nice, nice, doing well.
Good. Fantastic. It's good to have you on. Thank you very much for
Mhm.
joining us. Tell the listening, viewing public a little bit about who Dada is.
Well, my name is Krishna Lawrence, professionally known as Dada, music producer from Dominica. Um, born and raised here. Started playing music here for at a tender age. Booyah music, that's what that's my specialty. And produce a number of hits, over the years, locally and regionally, and also a few internationally as well. Most notably, Family, with featuring Marshall Montana, Bungie Garden, Skinny Fabulous. Yeah, and I don't know if you want to go down down the line of achievements and those kind of things like that.
I think we get a good nice little roundup
Yeah,
about who you are. But it's nice to have you joining me here
thank you.
this evening. And I want to bring in another woman who'll be joining us here this evening. It was tough getting women. The men were so much easier to tap into. But I'm happy when I reached out to her. She immediately said yes. She's someone I value her opinion a lot. I've seen her on various panels in the past. And although she is constantly working behind the scenes designing, you might think she's quiet and she doesn't have an opinion on things, but she's very vocal, which I found out very recently, and very opinionated and has some very strong points. So I want to welcome Mickey Graham, who is of Belanois. So, Mickey, good evening to you.
Hi, good evening, Jael. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me on the show. My name is Mickey Graham. I am fashion designer, creative director at Belanois Fashion. It's a women's fashion brand operating here in Dominica, specializing in evening wear, formal wear for women, wedding gowns, and eventually, well, very soon we will be coming up with our luxurious resort wear line. So thanks
Wonderful.
for having
Wonderful. And if you guys don't know yet, she's the person that's behind most of my creations, most of the things you see me wearing at events. Around, I've worn your stuff almost everywhere I've gone to, right, Nikki? I've worn your stuff quite a few places. So thank you very much for joining us. And
Sure.
last but by no means least, we got Devin Saint-Hilaire. Hi, Devin.
Hi, Jael.
It's good to have you joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, Devin Saint Hilaire, from Dominica. I live in Florida now. I do a few events in Florida, Dominica, Jamaica, St. Lucia, Antigua, Trinidad. We most recently did Viva La Carnival in Dominica and Citrus in Trinidad.
It's good to have you on with us. And I can see we have some good people on. We have some real good people. I was trying to tap into somebody who was involved in singing, but it was kind of difficult because people are traveling, people are all out and all over
Singing.
the place. So it was kind of difficult to get folks for this evening. So, but it's really good to have all of you on, and I want to kind of get the conversation started about, just share with us a little bit about how you felt Carnival 2025 went in Dominica, in your opinion, your capacity. I think that's a great way to start the conversation. What were some of the highlights for you? It could be from a from your own professional perspective in terms of the various events that you may have been part of, or it could just be general in the sense of what you observed, some of the things that you engaged in. So just give us a brief synopsis, and that will probably help start the conversation. Devin, since I have you up, I will give you the first go at it because you've done quite a few events. I mean, both you and Damien have done quite a few events. But I see you spreading your wings far and wide, and I want to get a sense of what your opinion is of the last season.
Yeah, I think the season was really good. I think from just looking around, there were a lot of faces that I did not know at all. So that tells me that we are always reaching places that it's never reached before and bringing people to the shores of Dominica. So that's amazing. That is, I mean, I think it's testament to the music a lot and to a lot of the promotion that we're doing for some of these internationally acclaimed events as well. It's just reaching a broader audience and they're coming to see what it's about. And hopefully they're also taking part in other things locally in Dominica as well. And not just in Dominica, but having participated in Carnival in multiple countries over the Carnival season, I can tell you that Buyo is quite prevalent in all of those markets as well. So it's really quite a proud time to be a Dominica. Even though there Dada had a big part to play in that. That family that y'all made is one of the what I like to call the inflection points in Buyo. And now we just the Buyo is hot, so let it go.
Yes, definitely. Thank you for sharing that, with us. And you are completely right, when you mentioned bouillon but I'm gonna take notes for now and let everybody else chime in. I'll take my notes and then I will go ahead. We're going in reverse order. Mickey, tell us a little bit about your opinion of the season.
Okay, well, I think we're all gonna really share a similar sentiment that really Carnival this year was one of the most active um, years that we've experienced, and of course, I think Bouillon had a central part to play in that. I have never jumped Carnival. My only contribution to Carnival really is during the Queen Show and Miss Teen. That's in the fashion segment. But I must say that I really felt the vibe this year. It was high tempo this year. Actually, um, this was the first year I said that I was going to join a band or, do something. I'm not going to, sleep or stay home because I'm always tired during the carnival season. So I stay home to sleep. And I bought my well, not a costume, but my jewelry outfit. And it's still here looking at me because I was tired. So I went home to sleep. But the vibe was real. The vibe was there. But I didn't get to experience it like everyone else really did, but I felt the vibe and the influx of people here. You could see it. You felt everything that was going on there. So I commend all the stakeholders and everyone who was really involved in that sort of achievement.
Yes, thank you very much, Mickey. Dada.
Yeah, this carnival is great. Telling you that. Um, yeah, I've never experienced a carnival like this in Dominica before, ever. You understand? And that is solely because of the music. You understand that this year is probably the only time I know of that the music is trending so much everywhere. You understand? And this has been happening for Trinidad and for Barbados and Grenada most recently, where the music was. To talk about Trinidad, for years Trinidad music has been trending, and that's the reason why Trinidad Carnival is so big. I remember one time I had a conversation with some people here, and I was saying them that the moment our music start to become more popular, the bigger our carnival gonna get because the music and the carnival is one and the same. You understand? You could have one show for the carnival, one event alone. It doesn't matter. The moment you see the music is busting, people gonna come. You understand? This is what it is. And like I said, the main marketing tool for any carnival, well, especially all carnivals in the region, is the music, right?
Mm-hmm.
and Booyah music has been on a high from I would say for the past couple of years. But then you see
Let's
when
speak from family now.
family, that's the thing, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because when we did family, that was part of my plan, was to go into Trinidad and plant a bug. You understand? And the fact that family was so huge, you understand, and it kind of changed this. It created a shift in the whole in the spectrum,
Seismic.
right? And then because of that, it kind of warm up the market more to that sound. You understand? And then, with COVID kind of come and slow down the momentum. Okay, would have happened sooner, I tell you that. See, 2021, 2022, that carnival would have been huge for Dominica. But anyway, here we are now, right? I have to big up people like Ridge, Ridge, because Ridge is one of the guys on them that really, take that on his back, you understand, and can really push it and keep the booyah flowing with Jolly and thing, because that kind of kept the music going, especially for COVID. So it never really lost the momentum.
Yes.
You understand? And then
Can
after
I,
that, no,
can I tell you something? Sorry to cut you, but
no problem.
I think the biggest thing that's been holding back Buyo, this is it's gonna be controversial, and I know Jael like Bacchanal, so let's do it one time.
You know, that's how I come to the front.
Reketeng has been holding back Buyo because the music is unoriginal.
When you say
Just
reggaeton, what do you mean?
just simply because it's unoriginal. The samples are not clear, it's copyrighted, blah blah
Oh,
blah.
that, yeah.
Because you started with original productions and Ridge started with original productions, and now we're getting a lot more original productions. They can travel, and that is a huge thing, and I'm so happy for that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And next year going to be bigger too. If you think Carnival this year was big, next year going to be twice or three times the size of that.
Yeah, I can expect that. I can
And
definitely expect
put
that.
people away.
Well,
That
we got to figure it out.
Yeah.
one of the things though, like you mentioned, family, and I know when family came out, there was a lot of backlash though. The reckoning came in a different form because people felt when because it was identified as a soca song,
Booyah
right?
Soca.
It
Booyah
was
Soca.
it was a Puyo soca song produced by Otto Dominica, right? And so people felt that Dominicans felt that this was bouillon, this was ours, but then they were let me tell you, Dominicans are very there's not many of us, but when we talk, we're so freaking loud. Like I swear to God, we were attacking, and I say we, me included, were attacking Trinidadians, during the launch of Family, to kind of claim ownership to the song. And some people may have said that, oh, Dada did us an injustice by kind of just giving that to Trinidad, and letting them run with it. And there was so much going on about that. But obviously, me being heavily involved in the entertainment industry, and also being connected to you, like we've spoken on numerous occasions,
Yeah.
I understood where you were going with, where you were leading with. Can you before I get to Damien, since you brought it up, can you share with us a little bit about, what, because you said your vision was to plant a bug in Trinidad, and hopefully that would materialize into something. We saw very recently that a bug was tried to they tried to plant another bug in Trinidad, and Dominicans Dominicans, look at Devin. Devin put his head up to the sky. Look off to the heavens. Dominicans were again very loud, and I felt, again, this is my opinion, that I felt that was not the time, or nor the place to be loud. Um, and what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on your family? Because you got the exact same. It was the exact same backlash as what we just recently happened with someone else. And people may think they may have amnesia and they may forget, but people had to be putting a press releases to apologize. And like, I remember that, like it was yesterday, right? And you were on a high note. It was just you. You had worked really hard to get there, and people kind of was giving you the side eye a little bit.
Yeah, well, first of all, I would say it was really unfortunate that it happened like that. It was uncalled for. And I didn't like the vibes, man. Because it's like, first of all, that's my job in as a producer is to produce music. You understand? It's not like I have music of somebody own. I give somebody. It's like if you have a restaurant, right, and you making food, you have a pilau. Somebody come and buy a pilau from you. You know what I mean? They like your pilau down there. They like your pilau down there. You make a big hit down there. They like it. You understand? It is what it is. And that's what happened with family. But then Dominicans, they malca same, man. I'll say that about them. Right? I don't care what they say. Because they did a lot of awful things, man. You understand? They tried to, and I would say that they thought a bad mind mix up in that too. Because like, there are some people, it's like, I guess they were shocked that it happened like that. And I wouldn't say Dominicans, the populace in general. I'll be more specific and say the music fraternity. They were the ones that was really the ones that was that caused all that problem. They caused that, because I guess it's a jealous thing where they just hoped one day they would have worked with Marshall Montano. They don't care about nobody else on the song. They don't care about Skinny. They don't care about Gal. The Marshall Montano thing. You see that one really catch them, man. I could see it. I could see it, and man, I get so much. I mean, I have I have all my files there still. I have screenshots. I have voice notes. I have everything there on one of my drives. That is memory. You understand? I have to document all of the good and all of the unfortunate situations.
You have all the receipts, boy. You have all the
Yeah, man.
receipts.
Petty.
Yeah, man, everything, man. But I will say this. You see, for me in the music, right? Like I said earlier when I was introing myself, is that I grew up in Dominica. I grew up playing booyah music. You understand? I work with all of the main bands in Dominica. Most notably Triple K. Triple K is my band. You understand? That's a band I do a lot of work in. You understand? And stuff like that. So, as a matter of fact, Benji is who that bring that Marshall Montano guy to me. Benji is who that put Marshall Montano in my head. Because I remember before I wasn't really checking soca like that. It's more more dancehall I was listening to and booyah music, you understand, and stuff. But Benji tell me, Dada, you see Marshall? Yeah, boy, Marshall, bad. And he used to make me, you make me kind of log on to that kind of thing and start focusing on the training scene more. Now, I'm very strategic, right? So I watching the whole training vibes for a long time. And I say, okay, you know what? I need to go down there. I need to go and see how I could get myself in there and then plant a seed for us, because in Dominica the market is really small. You understand? So it's like there's only so much we can do and stuff like that. So for me, I was thinking about how to expand. You understand? Because everybody and everybody, and again, if you look at it, this is a business from a financial standpoint. You can't make money in that thing around here like that because you only have 4 customers, right? You understand? And then they have their own people, and then it's all them kind of a story. You have to be doing all that red tape. You understand? So I have to. It's multiple reasons why I end up having to branch out and go into the Trini vibe. So long story short, when the family didn't happen just like that, it's years and years of working on different stuff that get it to that point. You understand? And I always knew that I need to get the right thing to go in Trinidad. And the moment you say I get that, then you're going to open up the market for Dominica. You understand? And then when family came about, I remember when we worked on family, when we had the last session for that, and we had a meeting, and the man checking the song's decent and thing, and they hoping that we do for the best for the song and thing. I tell them, all you madman, that is a bomb. The moment that song dropped, that can flatten the place. The man check oh, I put too much on that, and that's exactly what happened. The moment the song dropped, it's a wrap. The song was an instant hit. You understand? And it did so well for Dominica in spite of the negative things that Dominican musicians try to cause. Because I won't say it's the general public. The musicians that wicked and bad mind, you understand? Is them is what I try to cause a problem with it. And they do the same thing with Thriller and some others. They do the same exact thing. Dominicans are the ones that cause the problem. Not the Trinis, you love the vibes. You understand? Dominicans always their own worst enemy. But it is at the end of the day, it's your business that you have to keep it moving. You understand what I'm saying? So And as a result of all that kind of thing, you see how we benefited by this carnival being our most successful carnival, right? And like I
Right.
said, next they're going to be bigger than that. Trust me.
Well, I'll tell you something else, right, which might not be apparent. But all that bacchanal going on in Dominica, trying to protect Bouillon from the rest of the world, they are not aware of it.
Nobody cares. Like
Like when
nobody
like
cares.
this whole someone else thing was happening, and that was big news in Dominica, the talk of the town. Trilogy was still on stage singing, bro, in Trinidad. They didn't care. They don't care.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Like,
Nobody cares about
like
nobody cares.
it always amazes me. Like now, people are starting to discover that Dominica exists. Like literally, like oh wow, Dominica. Like I gotta check this out. Like we don't know, right? So like all the little bacchanal we have going on Facebook and this one and that one, and they are blissfully unknown. So guys, if you can hear me, just keep putting on the music.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Just keep
Yeah.
putting on the music. Let the music travel and forget about the rest.
I want to bring Damien into the conversation. Um, we speak about, we speak a lot about the music and all of this. Damien, also you've worked parallel with ministry with the tourism Ministry of Tourism, and I think that is a good time for you to come on. And I'm glad I did this in that order. It wasn't planned, because the general consensus is booyah music is what really got our carnival so hot. But the Ministry of Tourism might say, it was our promotions that got Dominica Carnival so hot. Like, what's your opinion on Carnival
So,
2025?
like the other guests, I will definitely say that from my standpoint, this was the biggest and best carnival in Dominica ever, by far. And again, to echo the sentiments of the rest of the team, it was driven largely by the music. Bouillon music has taken over the Caribbean. It's at an all-time high. And again, I think family was a big catalyst for that. No matter if people want to admit it or not, Nasty Business was a very big catalyst for that as well. So big up Ridge and Suki, they were really the ones that the shock value got everybody listening, and all eyes and ears were on Booyah from then. And then obviously, once we had the attention of everyone, then lyrics started to be cleaned up. People started to work on the lyrics, the
Yeah.
melodies, the more original music. So that was definitely the driving force behind Carnival being the most successful. I'm waiting to see the visitor numbers from Discover Dominica Authority, because I believe it was the most well attended carnival by visitors, not just diasporans, not just nationals abroad, but foreigners, by foreigners on a whole. So I'm really looking forward to seeing those numbers. And I cannot sit here and not big up the DDA and the Ministry of Tourism, because I do think that they've been doing things differently over the past year. I see them doing more sort of guerrilla marketing, going into different festivals, going into different other carnivals. So going to where people party. So it's not like they're going and just having a press conference, a press launch, but they're actually going to where people party. So the party goers, the festival goers, the fetters, they are seeing and hearing more about Dominica. It's more in your face marketing. So I have to big them up for that. So I think that has a part to play as well. But again, like Dada said, is the music that drives the carnival. Once the music is good, your carnival product is gonna be good. Now it's up to all the other stakeholders to improve their products to ensure that we have a good quality, high quality product to showcase to the world, because that's really what we're doing now. The world's eyes are on Dominica and Buyo. So I just want to big up again, because the carnival was so good. All the events, I want to again, I think, big shout out to all the other event promoters out there. Everybody is stepping up their game. I believe competition obviously still sharpens steel. So the competition is good, and I see people stepping up their games, and it bodes well for the industry, right? It's not that, oh, I feel bad because, oh, that event. No, no, no. We are all part of the business. We're all, I think Devin can speak to that. When we first started in Dominica, I'm speaking on behalf of Infinite now. when we first started in 2018, that was one of our goals to raise the standard, and the same for Next Connect's Radiance Productions. It was to raise the standard of events in Dominica because we all travel, we all go to carnivals and festivals all over the world, all over the Caribbean. And we felt that we needed to raise our standard in Dominica, and we took it up ourselves to try to do that, and others would follow because it naturally competition is going to breed, that sort of quality. So again, I want to big up. You have to big up the music producers, all the artists, the individual Booyah artists, the bands, um, all the musicians that took part in Carnival. I think it was an overall team effort because nobody can do it alone. But again, music is the driving force. And like Dara said and Devin said, once the music is good, and right now Booyah is at an all-time high in terms of popularity. There's no escaping that. There's no denying that. And I think if we continue in that vein and continue again, the competition is tight. Everybody wants to outdo. They want to outdo the last hit. So someone else was the biggest hit. They want to outdo that. How many views can you get? So everybody's trying to outdo what was done previously, and that only bodes well for the music. I can only see it going up from here. Again, big up to Nasty Business because that was one of the things that played an integral role of getting the Booyah to where it is today. And as you can see, a lot of the original Nasty Business artists, they've sort of, cleaned up their lyrics, or they have clean versions now that can play on all radio stations. So they have the nasty version, but they also have a clean version because they know that's what's going to get the airplay, right? In certain countries, you can't play the Nasty Business on the radio. And one thing I'd like to say too, we all love our soca. We all have gone to Trinidad. We've been to other carnivals. So big up everybody. And soca also had a good year. I will say that soca also had a very good year. But this is one of the first times in recent memory at our carnival on the streets that you did not hear as much soca as you heard.
Dominated Booyah. Booyah definitely dominated.
Let me tell you, like before you, the costume bands would be like predominantly before the bands come on, predominantly soca music, maybe from 2019.
I remember complaints because they would complain that we're not hearing enough calypso, we're not hearing enough from those. I remember.
But this year was actually the first year in a while, and I'm like, wow, boy, Booyah, like 80% Booyah, 20% soca, to other genres. So no, I really want to say kudos to the entire music fraternity in Dominica. I know there's been a lot of talk negative, but like Devin said, that is kind of isolated, and the other countries and so on, they're not really following that. They're just following the vibes.
Yes.
They're just following the music. They love the music. I can tell you, man, Devin can tell you, Dominica, Booyah dominated Miami Carnival. Like, dominated.
I can tell you that too.
Not just Miami Carnival, like all of the other
all the other carnivals since, like you can see, the influence in Trinidad was amazing this year. I mean, to see Trilogy on like a lot of the big stages, sharing the stage with all these other international soca artists, that was really heartwarming to see. And it can only go up from there. So I just want to plead to all the other stakeholders, all the other guys in Booyah, get your act together, register your music properly, you do what you have to do business-wise, so that we can continue taking it to the next level.
I cannot help but I have to play devil's advocate because that's what I'm there for. It's my show and I have to play the voice of the people. And obviously I speak to entertainers, I speak to musicians, I also speak to, I'm very much engaged with in communication with other authorities across the Caribbean. And one of the things that I get a lot of is that, or I hear a lot of, is that they don't feel like that Bouillon artists have a lot of support in Dominica. And when I say support in terms of how to export their music. And that is something, and I'm going to use an example because that came up in a very recent conversation. St. Lucia Authority, for example, they have guys like Jael, Umpa. They have these people that they aggressively promote in other markets. So I was in Miami Carnival Devin, you were there too, I believe. Damien, I don't remember seeing you, but
No,
um
I was.
I like you. We saw Saint Lucia. It wasn't Saint Lucian artists performing for Saint Lucia for themselves. They were performing for their country, right? That they were representing their country. Their country placed them there in the various events. And I went to multiple events. I went to some of Radiant's production events. I went to other events, and Saint Lucia placed their artists. And I have never seen that for Dominica. Like I've
So just
never seen
to,
it. And
so
I might be wrong.
sorry to cut you off, Jael, but just to follow up on that, to piggyback on that. So as I told you earlier, like I do Tipsy Barbados as well. And I remember the first time we went to Miami and brought Tipsy Miami. That was the year Burna Boy, Marshall, Shaggy, so on. Barbados and St. Lucia, they both paid us to actually have booths. Barbados took it to the next level and they actually sponsored their artists to perform and do a Barbados segment on Tipsy Miami. So this
Have you
is
had
this
that
is
from
where I'm
Dominica?
saying
Have you had that from Dominica?
no. So that is what I'm saying. But I see things changing, and it is my hope that that's where we're going to take the marketing tool because that's where it needs to go. Because we have these hot bouillon artists, and we need to showcase them to the world, and it needs to be a concerted effort by the marketing authority, which is Discover Dominica Authority, to take these artists to the various carnivals. So it's not just about. So I said, you see, we got our foot in the door by sending representatives, but sending representatives is not enough. We need to send our music ambassadors, our Dominica ambassadors, to really be on the stages and actually promote the music that way. Because again, it's not as effective as when you have a popular bouillon artist on like some of these major stages and events, right? So baby steps, Jael, baby steps. I see things changing, so I don't want to just bash them. I see things
No,
changing
I'm not.
slowly.
It's not. This is not a bashing. No, it's not a bashing. It's just we have to come. I mean, we have to compare it. We have to look to
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah, for
because I made
sure.
a statement about it recently, and people were trying to like almost like sweep it underneath the carpet. And I'm like, don't sweep what I'm trying to say underneath the carpet because it's a valid point. For example, I go to parties across the Caribbean. People when I go to parties, was it you, Devin, or somebody? We were in a party and people were coming up to me and they recognize me. They're like, "Oh, I know you from social media. I know you from. Oh, you're here in Miami." And then I convinced some Trinidadians to come to Dominica. Trinidadians, I convinced Trinidadians to come to Dominica this year for Carnival in Dominica, right? And it's because people identify with who parties. People don't identify with officials. People like if you come there talking about like I don't get, I will not get you. Like I just will not get it.
Yeah, you have to
People
integrate into the vibe. You
right,
have to.
you have to
Correct.
attach yourself to the people
No,
that
you know, Jail is interesting, and I really love this question. Like this question and this kind of line of conversation is bringing me back to when you went on stage at the Caribbean Music Awards and you're like, put we are on your show, like, and we can see that now a Savantan is People's Choice Awards across all genres in the region. You know, if you didn't give them their make way, that would never have happened. Now, in Miami for Carnival, so I consider myself to be a Dominican ambassador, right? I promote bouillon music everywhere that I go. And this year in Miami, I was producing a particular show called No Borders. And No Borders was a show where we were showing music, or we were featuring music from all the Caribbean, Trinidad, Grenada, St. Vincent, Antigua, Dominica, St. Lucia, you name it, the entire Caribbean was present on the roster for this particular event. And I had a
can I
particular,
say I was afraid? I was a little afraid, right?
I was
I know
scared
you're
too.
gonna I know you're gonna probably bring it up.
I was scared when we were launching it. I was nervous, but as soon as it went out, it went like wildfire. It was great. But I was reached out to by um, the tourism boards from Antigua, and they wanted their artists to be on the show. And they paid for the artists to come, and they gave us money and sponsorship, and they bought tickets for people to come and make sure that when the artists came on stage, like it was a production, like they produced it. St. Lucia reached out and did the same thing. And at the time, I was producing World Queer Music Festival VIP. So I actually spoke to the Ministry of Tourism directly about it, and they're like, "Okay, cool." Like, like they don't. There's a lot of work that still needs to be done.
I think you're missing. I think what you're missing is that a lot of the people who are in Ministry of Tourism or who are under that umbrella, they're not party people. They're people who are probably policy makers. They're people who understand crunch numbers. They may be even people that understand destinations and how to, but they're not party people. Like they're not people that I have seen in any fets that I've been, and I've been to vets. I've gone, and I cannot tell you if I've seen any of these people.
Well, I mean, I think like promotion and parties is now becoming like a thing in Dominica. It wasn't before, So I don't think anybody got it. Like all the people who are MCs in Dominica were considered class clowns and ridiculed, and they didn't have a platform to express themselves. And now, like, we're getting into the business of partying, and it's an actual business, and it's something that a lot of us take very seriously.
So that's a point. That's a very important point, Devin. That this is a business, and it's time that we start treating it like a business. Like I feel like over the years, and that's what I've been trying to really drive home with all the stakeholders, that Carnival is a business.
The business.
I used to see them treating Carnival like it's like a nice cultural sort of festive season, traditional. Carnival is a business. If you haven't look at St. Lucia Carnival. St. Lucia Carnival is the fastest growing carnival in the region.
Oh, hold on. Before you leave that point, St. Lucia Carnival is a big reason why Dominica Carnival is growing so much. St. Lucia Carnival is the springboard for Bouillon.
Correct. Some people think a lot of the songs that were in St. Lucia Carnival were St. Lucia songs. And you have to educate them and say, no, that's from Dominica. A lot of people thought someone else was from St. Lucia.
This has to do with the same export problem, Damien, because I was in St. Lucia Carnival last year, and there was not one Dominican DJ, zero DJs.
But we're going to change that. We're going to change that.
Okay.
That is true. I mean, and I think we talk about export and bouillon, and like Dada, we were having this conversation recently, right? You see, I knew that this conversation would come back around full circle on the understanding of export of bouillon music. I don't think there is an understanding of how to export bouillon music, and I think that is probably where the issue lies. We still like, oh yeah, our bouillon artists do good at Caribbean Music Awards, our bouillon artists, but after that, what happens next? Where is the branding? And I want to bring Mickey in because Mickey is very strong on cultural identity, so I want to bring her into the conversation.
I cannot say so much or go in depth as maybe Dada or maybe even Sorrento. But when we speak about the export of the bouillon music, we're talking about a product. And you just mentioned that you don't think that we understand the concept of exporting bouillon. But yes, I understand. I think that is an issue, but I don't think that is the only issue. I think the issue starts with the bouillon artists. If they do not understand that they are in a business, because how you treat what you're doing. I think a lot, and it's not just in the bouillon industry in Dominica. Once a young person gets into something here, they do not treat it seriously as a career path. They, treat it as just get into something for fun. But if you treat it as fun, how are the person responsible for export? And I'm not saying that they're not maybe take the necessary action that's supposed to be taken to basically export the product. But you as the bouillon artist, or you as a stakeholder, or somebody in the bouillon industry, making music or making beats. So you also have to take it seriously and treat it as a product before somebody else can
Mickey,
take it.
I get what you're saying, Mickey. I get what you're saying. However, I'm going to tell you from somebody who is in the business of social media, I am still not taken seriously as a business. And I have been running my business since 2013. In Dominica, I'm not taken seriously. It's not taken seriously that I am in a business. They still think I come on social media to run my mouth. And they don't see that it's actually a business. When other countries, other islands look at it as I'm a business person. So I don't think we can put all of the onus on the artist, because if we in here we have organizations who are supposed to be promoting entertainment, be promoting the music industry, and they're not doing it effectively. Yes, the artists have their part to play in terms of how they manage themselves, in terms of what they do in terms of their copyrights, in terms of what they do in terms of trademarks and all of that, branding and all of that. However, if you don't have the governing body, you're gonna do it on your own, which is
Well,
people like me and the Ridges have been doing it on our own.
that's
Okay,
exactly just it, right?
I want to correct. Okay, I want to correct something. It's not that I'm saying that the onus is on them completely, but they do have a significant part to play in how far they get. Even if, for example, you may feel like you're not taken seriously, but you've taken great strides, Jael, doing it on your own. Okay, maybe you may not be recognized here in Dominica, but Saint Lucia might call you up for something because they
What
recognize
they
you.
call they
Right.
call
So that's because you're taking it seriously. You're looking at it as a business. And once you do not look at it as a business, I think that's where the problem starts.
Well, I don't think it's not just that, you know. I think that if you look at it objectively, Buyo is very immature, right? Let me walk you through my opinion of the inflection points of Buyo. WCK, Dada, Marshall, and family, Ridge, and Suki, and someone else. Like we're on step four. Where is this thing? We're on step four. Like we're so immature in this thing. And if you look at step two was a masterpiece because you were dealing with the living legend Marshall Montano. It was perfectly executed to the T. They even filmed a music video at the Cabritz, right? So that is perfect. Now, when you go down the line to step three, Ridge wasn't popular back then, and Suki, no offense, has a lot of issues that need to be resolved. So like these are not professional people. And then when you look at where music is evolving and all of the guys who are popular now, I mean, one of the if we had to name like the next most popular guy that Rich has brought, Putters, right? Like Putters' name is Dirty Dog Putters. Like these guys were lifted off the block. I'm just saying, like they don't have business acumen. They have to be taught it. They have to be put in some kind of a structure.
I think Ridge has it though. He may not, his artist may not necessarily have it, because I believe Ridge is constantly looking for shock value.
Right, right.
But
No, but that's Ridge. But like Ridge is not the only one making music. There are other people just doing it. And you know the dangerous thing about this is it's not like so what I tell people, right, there's what you know, right? There's what you know you don't know, and like that's where you want to learn. And then the really dangerous part is what you don't know.
Facts.
And for us that don't have experience, that pie of what we don't know is a massive pie and it's dangerous.
So I want to jump in right there because I agree with you 100%. 100%, Devin. You see, earlier when I said no, that family wasn't just family, there's a whole heap of different things that happen that lead up to
It's a
family.
machine.
Right? People don't understand, like, that song is not, I mean, yes, it's a song, but I had to do so many different things over the years to get me to that point to be able to do a song like that. You understand what I'm saying? So it doesn't just happen. So I know my own growth process. I know what happened. I know what my experience was. So sometimes I doesn't really try to put so much pressure on the artists and them because they don't know. It's like they just talent. That's all they have is their talent. You understand? For me, I had to, first of all, I come in the game young. I was 14 when I come in that game here. You understand what I'm saying? I spent most of my life in this thing. So I had to grow up in that thing. I had to go through all of the tribulations and all kind of thing and change the game for the people that come in now and they can just come in for thing now and bam, bam. You understand what I'm saying? So what I have learned from that experience is that over the years, I learned now how to, like in Dominica, there's only so much you can do. You understand? And I agree with Jael. There's a lot of things happening in Dominica that Dominicans don't take serious because they just don't understand it. And they don't care. You understand? Because for years I try and make men understand the importance of this music business. When I learned the value of this music business years ago, you understand? I keep when I only saw the importance of understanding music business when I start to work with foreign artists. You understand? Dominican men don't interested in that at all. They don't give them and just don't care for that. What they want is their thing now, put on the radio and yeah. You understand? But for me, I still watch documentaries with rappers and all kind of different videos on YouTube with Dr. Dre and all them different Quincy Jones, and them man telling you about what people talking about masters and residuals and all kind of thing. And I check about what is that like, you know what I mean? And I want to know about more of them. I don't know more about stuff like that. So every time I do my music, I used to try. As a matter of fact, when I used to do music before with artists here, I used to try to get them on that, and they didn't care. You understand? So it was frustrating for me and it's difficult for me because as a producer, you understand? Like
You need to make money too. You want to make money.
Man, come on, man. You know what I mean? So, and then like I said, it's difficult because you're trying to do the business correct. They're not interested, so they're holding me back. So I had to let go of them a bit. I had to go in places like St. Vincent. You understand? And I had to I do a whole heap of damage in St. Vincent. I'm telling you that. You understand?
Yeah, because your music. I mean, your music has been like a road match, like multiple times.
Yeah, five soccer more like one road match in St. Vincent.
Right.
You understand? 5, and that's just some.
But Dada, we don't even hear that in Dominica. We don't even hear that you're doing that.
True, it's
like
true.
We're in Dominica, and I'm talking like I know because I know you.
Right.
But
right.
I don't see that on the news.
No.
I don't. Has anybody from what organization really pays attention to music in Dominica? Like in Dominica, I keep saying, make me Minister of Entertainment because we don't really have an organization that pays attention to that specific. Anybody has approached you about all of the things that you've been doing?
Not really. No, because the thing is, they don't understand. That's the thing, Because I remember when I was telling, when I was trying to talk to the people involved in the administration about the potential that family have to win the road match, it just flying with them like they didn't really. They said that, I was like, "Yo, road match, road match in Trinidad. That's historic."
Well, I had the exact same response when I approached about Caribbean Music Awards, and I approached about Caribbean Music Awards. Okay, so I know that they do not understand. Like it's not even like a matter of like I'm not even pulling this out of like a hat, or I'm not even trying to like shade anybody. They really do not understand it. And it's okay to not understand because everything is not meant for everybody to understand. But why isn't it that the people that do understand are not given the opportunities to actually push things forward in the direction that they see it can grow? Because we're talking here about bouillon is what dominated. Like we haven't even spoken about like the senses and all the traditional aspects of our carnival. We haven't even gotten into that. Right, we've been on the bouillon because the bouillon was hot, and at the same time there is an overarching issue, right? And I'm a problem solver. I like to solve the problem. I like to stick to the problem. And what is the solution? How can we, as a people, properly what do we need so that our music is properly exported, so that folks can. Everybody, so young artists coming up can understand.
This is not a Dominica problem. Like I was actually at Uber Soca cruise, and they had a panel in that cruise called Talking Soca. No, let me explain a little bit about Uber Soca cruise. It's a place where everybody in the industry is there at the same time. Pretty much everybody except Marshall Montano, just because he's so expensive, right? And in this particular panel, there was everybody. Skinny, Bungie, Nyla, Cody, everybody was there, right? And they were talking about the issues of music, and they have the same problems that we have. They don't have a distribution path for their music. They don't have a marketing path for their music. They don't have a copyright path for, like, over time everybody kind of learn how to do their own thing, but there's not really there is no until like now there's monk music, right? So Marshall Montano has this label called monk music, which is trying to put some structure around some of these things. And then there are some of these music producers who have very good structure on their music, such as like Static, Johnny Blaze, Travis World. Some of these guys have really good structure on their music. But apart from that, it's still like, hey, I'm just gonna send this off to Julian's promo and hope for the best.
Very fragmented, still very fragmented. So if other islands are like that, you can imagine Dominica further behind, right? But it's like Devin said, it's a problem throughout the region, but we even further behind the Trinidad, the so on. But I mean, so again, baby steps. We are moving in the right direction. We have to become more marketable. So a lot of the Buyo artists, now Mickey's point, a lot of them, they're not seeing themselves as a brand. So they're the brand. They're actually the commodity, right? So they now have to make themselves more marketable. It's not just about getting the music, doing a music video on YouTube. The way you conduct yourself, the way you do interviews, the way you dress. Some of these guys, maybe they need to hire a stylist, a PR person to handle their social media. So like it's a lot to it, not just putting music on YouTube and hoping that it stick, right? Mm-hmm. So even like the problems that we're in now, it's because when they created the song, it wasn't done with business in mind, right?
Yeah. These guys need proper management.
Right. So you need to again put in the structure like Devin was talking about, and have these guys understand that they are a brand. So they need to know, brand themselves and carry themselves in a way that can take them further afield. Right? So it's not about just getting gigs all over the place. Yeah, they have nice videos, but who is gonna edit those videos? Right? So they have some nice viral moments. Who is gonna edit that and package it and really put it out there, make things go viral? So there are certain things that need to be put in place, to get to that level. Everybody's doing it like a hobby now, and they see that there's money to be made, but there's no structure. So until we get the structure right, we're not going to be benefiting like a lot of these other major artists that we see around the region that have structure now.
Well, not even just that. The other thing too, which is happening kind of in real time, which is kind of scary to me, is that these guys are fighting with each other in public, both on social media and literally on stage.
Yeah, we know about that.
Yeah, and we saw that at your event, Viva.
It happened there too. And like it's happening everywhere. And like, wait, look real there.
And he just said, "I rich."
No, but like this is not a real problem, bro. Like it's happening across everybody. Like you seen it happen between Little Boy Quan and Trilogy, right? You see it happen between MJ and Taffy. You see it happen between
Reach and MJ. Taffy and MJ.
It's just happening. And it's happening because there's no real professionalism around this. It's just like fling tune. Like it's just they just fling him to see what sticks. Like we have to be more intentional about what we're doing.
But you see, I'll say something too that is similar to the Jamaicans. The Jamaicans have a program too. You understand? The music, the culture of music in Dominica. I'm talking about Dominica, the culture of Dominica. The culture of music in Dominica, especially if young people, is very similar to the Jamaicans. It's very vicious. You understand? And it's like it's cutthroat, you understand? So it's like men take anything and make a big thing and stuff like that. So it's like
but it also makes it very exciting though. Like I mean, as a non-Jamaican, I mean we love the beefing. I feel like it makes it just when you feel it, when you in it, because now it's applicable to us as Dominicans. You're just like, oh my god, like I don't want my dirty laundry out there like that. But I feel like that's why we feel in the heat. So because the ones on the outside, they love in the beef. Like they love the beef.
No, but look, even for New Year's Eve, when Cartel had his show and Popcorn come on stage and say, scatter barrels. And like, bro, that is part of the antics. That's just part of the antics. It's part of the antics.
Yeah. But the artists and them, as you said, you very correct to know, is that they're not professional. You understand? They do, and a lot of them they don't care. It's a weird phenomenon, you know, because
I think it's ignorance, bro. When I say ignorance,
It is.
not the Dominican ignorance, like you don't care, like you don't, like you just are blissfully unaware of what's supposed to be happening.
If you tell them man that, right? Even if you tell that to them, man, there's a 98% chance they can tell you, my brother, don't worry what you're saying there, you know, my brother.
Yeah, because it's not a business yet, right? Like,
right.
People, like it has to be a thing where like the bread getting buttered, right? Like, and they seeing the benefits of going in down a certain path from a business, financial, career, upliftment standpoint. Right? All them are struggling to make them to lift up themselves.
So it's part of the now mentality, right? It's like, boy, what I can get now. They're not thinking long term. So it's a very myopic. It's a very myopic view. They're thinking of, okay, they're not thinking about 2 years from now, 5 years from now. They're living in the now. They just see, boy, 2025, yeah, what I can get. And they're not really looking beyond that, David. So it's a mindset. It is a change in mindset. Yeah. Like, how can you get these guys to think long term versus like the short term, 1-2 years? Oh, we want to get you guys there so that consistently, year after year, for the next 5 years, you guys are going to hit every year. You guys can go to every carnival in the region, all international carnivals, because you know it only takes one hit. It only takes one hit to travel.
It sounds like a dream. Like, I actually lived it this year, through this season. You know, I literally lived it. It sounds whimsical. Like, that's not real. It's not real. You know, like, if we go back to the someone else Trinidad Soca Monarch example, the song was removed from the competition based on everything else that was going on. And
the song was removed. The song was removed because they got a lawyer paper. Like, the song wasn't just removed.
Well, it's the lawyer paper, yes, but it happened on a Saturday night. The show is trying to produce a show. They're not trying to go through legal this and that. They just, guys, we don't have time for this. Sit down, right? So they put them on the side. That's the end of it. It so happened that a Grenadian artist with a less popular song in Trinidad actually won the competition.
Black Adan.
And you know, when Black Adan reached back in Grenada, it was a motorcade from the airport to St. George. Accolade, like you see, like how when Thea landed in Dominica, it was like that. Our warrior champion is home.
Let us not go down that road.
Praise, accolades.
I felt hurt. I felt so hurt.
Bro, the man is living on cloud 10 right
Devin, I felt that was supposed to be ours. That was supposed to be ours this year. That was
to follow up on that, Devin. You see the fight back he was getting in Trinidad now.
Who?
Black Adan. You don't see the whole blow up, and he had to release a video today.
Oh,
the man serious fight back from Ben Jai and some other guys in Trinidad, saying how Grenadian with a song from 2024 can win, when it was clearly in the rules that song was eligible. But it's just the same xenophobic thing, like, why are you fighting down? It's all under the same we Caribbean brothers and sisters.
No, bro. Like, the fight down is real. Like, even that in Trinidad got a lot of fight. You only get fight down everywhere, but you see the fight down at home in Dominica, like,
it's worse.
Come up with like, all right, if somebody, like, imagine if, not even imagine if, bro, Barbados was fighting down Rihanna, bro.
Mm-hmm. And look at now.
They were. Like, it's just the crab barrel, bro. The crab barrel is in us from Africa, bro.
I think it's like we all want each other to do well, but not better than us. Like we all want everybody to do well, but the second they're doing better than us, it's a problem. Oh my God, it's such a problem. No, they can't be doing better than us. And I think that is where that is something that is rooted probably in our ancestry, in our where we inherited. It's probably transgenerational trauma of some sort that we inherited, right? That is causing that. But I want to kind of segue, because we've dwelled a lot on the bouillon and the music, and I mean, some very valid points came out. some very
Now you segueing, I want to remind you that without Bouyon, we have no carnival in Dominica now.
very, very true. I want to kind of talk a little bit about though, so I looked at, obviously I reviewed the events, and some of the events I looked at how things are shifting, like are slowly shifting, and I want to get your opinions on, because obviously I gave my opinions on certain shifts. Like for example, Juve used to be more of an event where people would come out in their like I used to see so much people in Papi Show wedding, and now it's becoming slowly a t-shirt business that is stretched off to the evening of t-shirt ban. Like so I felt t-shirt ban was Monday evening and Juve was Juve. Now it's slowly becoming, it seems like it's becoming a t-shirt event. I actually made a recommendation to one of the t-shirt bands and I said, hey, y'all should give people or promote for people to wear, like you could still sell for your events, but not necessarily have t-shirts, make people dress up, come as they like, because I feel like we're going to lose that traditional aspect, that cultural aspect of our carnival. I want to get your views on that. And I probably want to start with Mickey, who not necessarily is involving costume building and all of this, but the fashion aspect of it and also the cultural identity aspect of it.
Okay, well, honestly, I cannot say much. I mean, I can just say that I agree with what you're saying. It's a tradition. It has been a traditional aspect of our carnival that I feel is really fading away. But if it's not really held on by the organizers, because really and truly it's the organizers to push that aspect, you know, of the juve, the wearing of the whether it's a half sleeve, their costume, painted face, the mask, the wig, the big bottom, those kind of things. That's what we grew up, knowing being done during the Juve. But like you said, I guess because of how the events are organized, people try to make things convenient for themselves, so they do not really go home to change or come back for these, etc. When if they never even leave home 12 o'clock in the morning, they stay till whatever time until they have to leave Borlame at whatever time. So nobody wants to go back and forth, I guess. So I guess it's just for convenience.
What are your views, Damien?
Yeah, so I have a mixed view. Like I definitely don't want Carnival to lose the traditional aspects of it. But I think we have to take more innovative ways of keeping it, because it's one thing to say, okay, we want to keep it, but who are the people that are lobbying to keep it? What are they doing to enhance the product and to innovate and evolve? Because like anything else, everything is evolving. You're gonna find the younger generation, some things get lost through, some things are not passed down like they should. And I think that was one of the reasons that the cultural division, headed by Ulson now, created the old mass. And I think that he saw it kind of shifting where Juve was becoming more like you said, the t-shirt band, the powder, paint, that sort of thing, and less of the traditional wear. And I think that's what he tried. So that was an innovative way. I think that you were trying to keep the culture alive, but letting them have like their own time, their own event, their own day. So maybe that is something that will continue to catch on and evolve. But I'm not sure how you're going to incentivize or encourage the bands that exist now to try and incorporate that to for their patrons, because I can tell you their patrons they're not feeling, their patrons don't want to partake in that. What they're partaking in now, that is what they want, and you have to kind of cater to what your patrons are asking for. It's a bit like you said, it's a business. So you cannot try and put something down your customers' throat that they don't want. So
You
they've been
think
going
an option would suffice? Like it's not necessarily saying remove it completely or force you into it, but creating an option whereby people could still bring
that,
where, and I'm specifically looking at Juve. I'm not looking like
yeah, that,
an aspect of it. I feel is very fitting. It gives a different element of carnival, but the old mass, the Juve, that sort of element I feel is like
so
slowly
that
moving.
is that may be a way to solve the issue. But again, Do they have enough patrons that are calling for that, that are asking for that? So it begs to the question, okay, so if 10 people ask for it in a band of 1,500, 2,000, does it make sense to do a section for that 10 people? You have to look at the business side of it, right? So you have to strike a balance. I thought that the old mass was something I saw being, something that can catch on, because I like when Erson first introduced it, I'm like, hey, he may be onto something. So when I saw the whole old mass thing, and I think that is maybe something that we can take to the next level. It's a product that can also be, it can become a very popular time for visitors to come down. Those that are more, more in line with, they want to experience the more traditional aspects. So maybe that is another time that we can actually promote. So again, I don't think there's any one size fits all, JL.
Mhm.
You have to look at basically innovative ways of trying to incorporate the traditional aspects. So maybe it's like what you said, having a section, but again, it has to be something that the patrons are telling the organizers, hey, we want this. If they're not hearing that from their base, then they're going to continue going down this road, right?
Yeah, yeah. Someone is saying to lose the traditional juve, we become like everyone else. So it just becomes, because I mean we promote, at least Dominican's Carnival is promoted as the real mass, you know? So it is like a huge part of it is encompasses traditional mass and the expectation, and even from some people I heard who were spectators. So if you were quite a few people told me this, if you were not in a band or part of a band, it was very hard to follow what was going on. And that's what people were saying. On Tuesday, I happened to be on the road, not participating in Carnival. I was on, not necessarily as a spectator. I was there to do my content and stuff, but I was also a spectator for a huge part of it. And to some extent, I kind of agree that um, if you were not in a band, if you were not part of, like, it was hard to follow what was going on the road. And I don't know if any of you had that experience, or heard those sentiments, or even like
This is like in the daytime, like, or in during
the
tradition.
daytime, in the daytime.
Daytime, yeah. I definitely think there's room for improvement, JL. That was one of the areas that I saw, and I had recommendations for trying to improve the road experience during the day for the more spectators, because there's still a lot of gaps in the parade. The parade starts very
So
late.
this feedback went to who?
No, so basically DDA would get this feedback. So every year they do a postmortem, and I think every year that's one of the things that comes out from the postmortem, that
Yeah.
there's still too many gaps on the road. A lot of the times the bands come out too late. Even the costume bands this year, some bands came
Came
out
out
very.
really late. Yes,
Some bands only did not even a full round.
I know, I know.
So I think it starts from, I know we had changed back in the day. The costumes were on Monday, and the t-shirts were on the Tuesday. So a lot of people are lobbying. I'm not one of them, but a lot of people are lobbying that maybe we should go back to the costumes being on the Monday and the t-shirts being on the Tuesday, because they feel like people are very tired and exhausted come Tuesday morning to do the parade,
Yeah,
right?
and not just to do the parade, the work that comes into getting ready for costume, coming from
Correct.
the night before. Like I would not, I can no longer do it.
I think
Like
I
the
think the law
gems.
we put out is the pretty mass, right? Because like to do the pretty mass, it takes time to
Makeup.
like recover, right? I don't know if you can jump. So the idea is you come from Juve and you just do like a simple thing, and then the next day you have time to you go home early and you have time to rest and then come fresh the next day. That I think that's the logic for
I'm
that.
gonna ask a question, please. So, okay, we speak of Juve. Juve is from what time?
from four, from
For,
four to
for like
10,
mid.
from
Right.
4
From
to 10.
Tuesday. What is happening during that time? And there are events going on just before 4 and even during 4.
Yes.
So
Right.
yes, so to answer the question, yes, but so what they've done, right? is like you have like these other effects going on. So you have illumination going on in the stadium,
Right.
you have more powder, etc. going on. But what they try to do is that those bands, because a lot of times it's the bands that have in those events, those bands they can't come on the road until 6 o'clock. So between 4 and 6, they leave it for the traditional groups. So the Lapo Kabwe, all the real cultural, the Black Dev, that sort of thing is supposed to be um, reserved for the traditional groups, for the traditional instruments. So you have
Right.
that 2 hour window. And then after 6, well, it's free for all. You have the bands and all the other
Right.
things around the road
So I
hiking. So,
asked this question. I'm happy that you said that. I asked this question because Jael spoke about the traditional aspect of Carnival before. Now we're trying to hold on to something, and I'm wondering how practical is it? Because the people that we're trying to get to be interested in the traditional aspect within that 2 hour time frame that you speak of, these are the people who now coming from illumination and coming from more powder and also going to rest. So who really is going to be at the traditional?
No, I think it can happen, but like Jill was saying, it has to do with the organizers, right? Somebody has to influence a bunch of people to go out and do that, right? Like back in the day, it'd be like somebody would say, "Hey, let us make a sensei and go on the road." Like this year, my friend Steph was like, "Hey, let us go on the road with a truck and a cooler." Like there's just and he influenced. It was like 100 people that went with him. Like it can happen. So if you can get an influential group of people to say, hey, let's get some people in some kind of traditional thing and make it a thing and market it properly, it needs to be modernized, right? The traditional mass needs
correct.
the level of modernization. In Trinidad, there's a group called Lost Tribe. And that has been band of the year every year since Lost Tribe has come out. And people go to that because that's people who want traditional mass. And you will find those people, but you have to build the product, and we don't have anybody that's building those products right now. So somebody like Jael and Mickey should start
Okay, so that's what I'm asking. So let's say Jael and we decide, okay, let's get into this. The 5 friends I know of who will buy the ticket to go to Illumination, they will buy their ticket next year, even if Jael and I decide let's start a traditional concert during that same time frame.
and
They will buy
So
their
let me
ticket
tell
to
you,
go to
that's the
Illumination.
problem, because you're thinking this or that.
Mickey, you know what I did this year? I wanted to go to Illumination, but I also wanted to dress up. I did not want to wear a t-shirt. So I bought my ticket I bought my thing, and I only wore the wristband. And I wore what I wanted to wear because there's nothing that forces me to wear their t-shirt. It's not mandatory to wear their t-shirt. So that's why I was saying to
Not
one
Jael,
of the
but
guys,
we're talking about a certain generation of people that we're trying to pull into a traditional concept. Huh?
mhm.
So you may think that way, but only maybe a handful of people may think that way. But majority of the people we may want to pull into that concept, they're on a whole other level. They're not on that level. They want to go in their t-shirts and their little, onesie and their stockinette and all this. That's what they want because they have got no
No,
possible
no, man,
buy.
it can happen. I promise you, it can happen.
It can happen. I think it can
But
happen.
again, it's gonna
Maybe
take
it
time.
included as a complement to maybe one of the existing events, I guess.
So that is actually what I would recommend. I spoke to one of the bands, and I was like, you can have two ticket options. Still keep your thing so that because you're trying to, obviously you kind of just you don't want to get rid of your product because this is your essentially something that you've built, but have the option to give people the option that want to explore it. Because if I see the option, I'll ask a question. I was like, what does that mean? Does that mean I can wear whatever I like? I can come as I like? And that's exactly what it is. It is you coming as you like, right? But still holding on to the traditional aspect of it and still having a good time in the band that you want to go to have a good time in. I
Okay,
don't
so
see how.
one of the aspect of the traditional as well is not the music on the big truck. It's actually the lapo cabrit. So how do we include that? For example, if Illumination decides, we're gonna have that aspect, traditional aspect, we're gonna include this as
They do La Pocabwit at the event. Yes, they do.
But okay, I mean, yeah, but I'm just trying to see how practical it is, to like fighting for space within the same time frame for the same set of people. I'm kind of wondering how
Yeah,
practical it's going.
I do think I to be honest, I mean I agree with a lot of what Damon is saying. In terms of a lot of the traditional mass needs to modernize and especially big enough Ulsan for what Ulsan do with the old mass and thing. Yeah, I think that's a good idea as well. But I think we need to really be realistic. I agree with Mickey 100%. You understand that the carnival has changed. You understand, and what we know carnival to be when we were growing up and what carnival is becoming is two different things. You understand? In
Europe
Trinidad,
is big,
is
Europe is
that
big enough for all of these things to be happening at the same time.
yeah, but you see, again, going back to what Damien was saying too, is like, if your patrons and them want a certain thing, you got to force it down your throat, you understand? And Carnival is changing. We need to understand that. Trinidad have 1 million people, 1.3 million people, they have the numbers to do all them different kind of things. But in Dominica, majority of the people that partake in Carnival is young people between the ages of what, you say 50 to what, 15? You understand? And then how much of them people they want to go and jump up in Sensei? How much of them people they want to do that traditional old man thing? How much of them want to do papi show wedding? You understand? Right now, what them people want on the road is powder. They want the redeem on the road, and that is how the thing going. No, I'm not saying that we shouldn't do the other things, but it'll be very difficult to get them young folks there. You understand? To buy into things that we checking like, boy, we see our parents. I mean,
I disagree, because I disagree. I watch people like the Africulture stilt walkers who incorporated senseis into their thing during the opening. I saw opening of Carnival was so magnificent to see how, and people were in traditional wear. They were not in t-shirts. They were in traditional wear. I don't think that it's impossible.
I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying that the time frame we have to work with, how practical how practical is it? We it's like, to me, for that to be practical, more powder has to go up to has to go up to 6 o'clock, end at 10. Illumination has to start at 12, end at whatever time, and then you have all the traditional starting at whatever time to go up to. It's like people are not going to be able to split themselves. I'm not saying that the young people don't want to be part of it. They may want to be part of it. They may want to experience it. But if they have a choice to choose between the traditional and the illumination or the more powder, they will buy the ticket to go to the illumination.
It has to do with culture.
It's the time frame. It's difficult to have all three of these events working in harmony.
Mickey, I think it needs to be integrated, though. I think there needs to be integration.
That's why I like the idea of the traditional old mass event, because there weren't any other competing things. Like, so the patrons knew this was old mass. It was dress up, sensei, papi show, and they have their own day for that. So a lot of the patrons that doing the regular illumination, t-shirt band, whatever, they would say, hey, that's my one time I can actually do the traditional stuff. So I actually found I was innovative on Ulsan's part. And I think it's something that can grow. It just has to have more people behind it, more marketing behind it. But I think it can grow. And that can be that's your traditional mass. And then you have your regular, if you want to call it, your commercial product that you're showcasing to the world, right? And that's what people want at that time, is rhythm. They don't want to be in a hot sensei going down the road.
Medium.
Right?
It is what it is. It is what it is, because, like I said, the carnival is changing. I mean, if you look at the carnivals in the region as well, you look at St. Lucia, or the carnival is in St. Lucia, you look at Trinidad and stuff like that. Dominica Carnival especially in that aspect, is becoming very close to what St. Lucia is and what Trinidad is.
Which one?
Yeah, man. In terms of
When it was to St. Lucia, I didn't know what you said.
I said Dominica Carnival is starting to become closer, to St. Lucia and Trinidad. You understand? And in terms of how the carnival is, musically is different. You understand what I mean? And to me,
I think you're describing Roseau,
Well,
Well,
yeah,
well,
I remember Rosso is a major part to play.
commercial,
Rosso is a major part to play with that, you know.
I love and so Jael, as Devin said, Rosso, Tiwi Vaval. I love that aspect of Carnival. You see that Ash Wednesday, Tiwi Vaval in the Kalinago territory. That is something we need to market even more than how we marketed it now. Natalie Manuel was there. She had a great time. It's something I didn't get a chance to do this year, but I really want to do it next year. And I think that is something that can grow. So you can have so that is like real traditional, and it's something that again to experience is almost like a spiritual event. And I think that is something that we can really start to market, and that's something that the visitors will love. So you have that on the Wednesday. So you have your 2 days, your Monday, Tuesday, you have your traditional mass as a separate event, and then you close it off with Tiwi Vaval. So that is a bit more cultural than Tiwi Vaval. So I think it
That's
is
a great suggestion, Damien. That's a great suggestion.
I think it is integrated, and I think that is an aspect of Carnival that we need to market even better than how we're marketing it now. And I think having Natalie there this year, bringing down more people, I think that it's only going to go from strength to strength.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I agree with you. I still keep my same ideas, to somewhat
Let me
incorporate
bring up
more.
another controversial topic. Changing the date of our carnival.
Devin, I didn't want to go there. But
We reached, bro. Here we are. We're here now. I don't think we should change it.
I agree.
I don't think we should change the date.
Hold on. No,
I don't either.
There are other people who think that we should change the date, and that's a different story. But let me tell you one of the reasons why. Like I said, I was in St. Lucia for Carnival last year, and I drove all around St. Lucia, and the place is dead. There's no carnival happening in the villages. There's no dennery happening in Dennery during Carnival, which is a travesty because their culture died when they shifted the date of the carnival. If we think our carnival has changed, it will change even more.
Yeah.
If we change the date for
I have a suggestion for you. I have a little spin on things. So I think we can do both. So I feel honestly like Carnival the date of Carnival is holding it back from its full potential. Let's just say yes, we're getting more visitors. This year was our bumper year, but I think we could double or triple that if we change the date. One of the reasons being our two biggest source markets, Guadeloupe and Martinique, share the same carnival as us. Now, granted, it's not the same sort of carnival, but there are some patriotic Guadeloupeans and Martinicans that are not going to leave their carnival every year to come Dominica. They'll come 1 year, they'll go back.
So they can stay. So let them stay.
No, but yeah, that's our biggest source market. Think of if we had the same amount of French visitors that came down for Creole Festival at Carnival. You know what could actually happen? We could have a Martinique band on the road. We could have a Guadeloupe.
Damien, you're going to. So who going to be carnival babies now? Like what? Like how are you gonna define a carnival baby?
No, but so hold on. So hold on. So that's just one aspect. You're bringing in more visitors. You incorporate other cultures into your carnival. That's one aspect. Another aspect is a lot of our Bouillon artists. As you can see this year, they're losing out on opportunities to go to the Mecca of Carnival. So Bouillon could be even exposed to a bigger audience if they were actually able to. So your Triple Ks, your Signals, your Trilogy, everybody could be in Trinidad performing on the big stages, going on the road on the trucks. They're losing business. So it's a business opportunity that we're losing out on. Right? So that's the second. Furthermore, if you realize our carnival, if you look at all the events surrounding carnival, all the events have kind of pulling from the same talent pool for the most part. So Signal, Triple K, so you have the same artists, the same DJs for most of the events around, like immediately around carnival. And why? Because all the A-list artists and DJs are going to Trinidad. You couldn't get some solution. Hold on. You couldn't get solution DJs to come this year because they were doing a big thing in Trinidad. So why don't you have your commercial carnival, put it on May Day weekend, and you do like a traditional carnival in February. So all
Damien, you
your
give me a headache, Damien. Damien, I do not agree.
No,
Do not agree at all.
You know, but
You know what? All of the points you make, Damien, are valid. They're valid points. However, I feel like right now we are growing. Now we're growing. To change the date is just going to set us back.
I think
Like,
the timing is wrong.
I think the timing, if we had to change the date, we had to change the date before now.
well,
Now,
so
well,
let's
there's an
go back to
opportunity
the original
there.
point I was making, right? St. Lucia changed their date, and since they've done that, their carnival is becoming a very commercially recognized carnival. And they've put safeguards in place to ensure that St. Lucians are the ones to benefit from the commercialization of the carnival. But as we discussed previously, Dominica is benefiting from the commercialization of St. Lucia's carnival a lot.
well,
Our carnival is bigger this year because of St. Lucia's carnival. So that's good. So I think we
I
can
would
take
say.
advantage of that to an extent, right? We talking about business, right? Like we can make a business of St. Lucia's carnival. Viva la Carnival is going to be in St. Lucia Carnival. Shameless plug. Like we have to keep rolling with the punches, right? That's what's going on. Now, if we change the date of the carnival, you're not going to have St. Joe Carnival, you're not going to have Posse Carnival, you're not going to have
Oh,
Latin Carnival,
so
you're not going to have
you didn't listen to the second part. You didn't listen to the second part of my point that you can actually keep. So the same thing we're talking about, the traditional, keeping the traditional aspects. You could keep all the openings within that same carnival period. So you do all your old mass, your traditional village openings. But
so like for
then,
4 months you're running carnival.
So you say we just want to be drinking more rum then?
no, we bring in more business to the country. It's
So,
about bringing.
so you have your openings, right? All right. So let's play this out. So you have your openings before Lent, and then you have Ash Wednesday, and then it goes quiet, and then you have Carnival after Lent. Like
May Day weekend, leading up to.
I don't know.
to
I
um,
think first, I think
I think
first,
it stretches across too much that it loses. It's like I think that it would lose the intensity. It's like with the gap is just too wide, and I feel like we if we came that far with something less, and now it's speaking of, I don't think now is the right time to change the date. I think it would just diminish what's already building.
well, I think what would help and be additive as opposed to disruptive would be a Booyah festival at some point in the summer.
I would subscribe to that.
And
I would
guess
subscribe.
guess what? There
I would
are
subscribe to Bouillon Festival in
entities-
June.
There are entities that are not Dominicans who are planning to do Booyah festivals in Dominica. Like, make it make sense.
Yep. But again, you see, you say that though, that will happen. Other entities will be interested because again, we in Dominica or the powers that be in Dominica don't understand the export of bouillon. So as long as they always say, "Oh, bouillon is great, bouillon is this," they'll jump to it, but they don't understand it's the business. It's a business. They don't understand that it's a business.
I understand it, but it's a two show, two flam thing. It's the same crab barrel thing, you know.
I want to. We speak about events. We speak about and one of the other things that came up during this season was the length of events and how some events are long. What are your thoughts on this?
The long season?
Events like for example, sunrise started at 11 and like Asa didn't come on stage until like 9 a.m. Like I wanted to see Asa and I was tired by the time Asa came on. I could barely shake my leg because my foot was hurting me.
Well,
You know?
I think that like in other places that have carnival, you see a lot more events. Like if you look at Miami Carnival, is literally like maybe 100 events a day. You look at Trinidad for Carnival, there's less, but still a lot, maybe like 30 or 40 events per day. You look at New York, the same kind of thing is true. You look at St. Lucia, even the same kind of thing is true. Like in Dominica, like people cannot stomach more than one event in the same time slot. One will fail. We just don't have the stamina for it. In fact, the first year we did,
Stamina, and that is what TikTok, all of TikTok
yeah,
was.
I'll tell you, it's a true story. A true story. So the first year we did Viva, We did a corresponding event called Sulasu, where we did a 3-boat cruise that left some hours after Viva, 3 different boats, and then the 3 boats came back on land to have a breakfast fest. And let me tell you, it was sold out. People were excited, right? And the boats were half empty. And the breakfast fest was full in the morning. And people say, boy, after I went Viva, I just went dancing. So we just don't have the culture for fete to fete to fete to fete to fete. We have the culture for making a daybreak. We will stand up and do that. But to go home, sleep, and come back, we don't have that.
I agree because I will say this. I remember once I was in Trinidad, and I think that was that was the year when Mr. Killer won with Run With It. After we came from Soca Monarch that morning, and then we went to an event. Right after that, from Soca Monarch, we went to an event, and then from that event, we had to go on Bungee Gallons pre-dawn boat ride. And I was like, yo, I cannot do it. I tell you that, I cannot do it. I want to go home, please and thanks. Okay, I not accustomed to that thing. I'm like, boy, you soft. I say, it's not soft, boy, you mad. Like, since yesterday outside, you understand? Like, you know what I mean? So I agree with you. He's right. In Dominica, we don't party like that. We can make a daybreak for you, sign up in a spot and make a daybreak, yeah. But from event to event, you'll get burnout. And
So you're saying that it's okay having the long events rather than because I personally, I'll tell you, as somebody who's like, I've partied in many different countries. I partied in the UK. I lived in the UK. I partied in Canada. Lived in Canada. Partied in a lot in the US, in the Caribbean as well. And if I'm going to an event and I have wind that your event is extended beyond 4 hours, I generally stick to the 4-hour mark. So I will not go, like, I don't see why I need to be at an event for more than 4 hours.
How many hours were you at Viva?
For 4 hours.
Really?
Yes.
What time you came?
I came in at 8.
Okay.
I came in at 8. And your restriction was actually, I just sent somebody ahead with my cooler and I came in at 8 because I would not have been able to do any other, like I wanted to do band practice. I would not have been able to do anything else if
but you had other things to do. But not only that, Jill, but you're seasoned and you've been to these foreign things and you understand how that works. But
so why can't we incorporate something like that? Because I feel like, yeah, so Viva is from 4 to, like, it's supposed, I mean, remember it used to be 11 because I remember Calypso used to be still going on when Viva was done. And now it seemed like it's extended. And like after a while, like I get tired of, like, it doesn't even matter. It's not even like I'm tired to go home. I am just tired of the same environment. I need like I don't know, probably because I'm too much of a foreigner sometimes. I just need to move to something else. So it was like knowing that there was band practice.
The culture is different. The culture is different. Every single place you go is different. Like in Jamaica for Carnival, for example, the events all are marked for 8 hours. All the events are 8 hours long. And it makes it very difficult for a person to know exactly what time they're supposed to go to an event. So what ends up happening is, like, the public will determine which event is first and which event is after. It's weird. It's like each place has a different culture.
So to follow up on that point, right? So what you find, like the locals, wherever the carnival is being held, like the locals will have that, I guess, event fatigue, where, boy, after that, if they have to go home and things change, they're not coming back out. Whereas if you find like the visitors that come to Carnival, they come to Fete. So that's all that's on their mind. So they now have a different mindset. So they all about, okay, if that event ends and it has something else, I'm going. And that is something I found very true in Barbados as well when we were doing our event called Rewind. That was after the Kaduma jump. Now, Barbados is only 1 day carnival there for crop over, right? And what you find, so that event was an amazing event, but 90% were foreigners. Because all the Bajans, after they jump on the road in the hot sun, they dead. but all the foreigners that were in Barbados that year found themselves on the beach for rewind. And I think it's similar. So wherever you go, the people that travel to the carnival, they all about fetting and they'll go from
That's
one
what
to the
that's
next.
what people come for. But I think
Right.
I'm still in that mindset, even though I'm in Dominica,
Right.
because I'm still in that. Okay, I want to be able to go to. You see, like I want to be able to go to Viva from like that time to that time, and then know that after Viva, there's another event that I can go to a different city, and I don't mind going in the same clothes. I don't have to pay, and I get 8 hours, but I get it 2 different places.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I think you have a point, Jael. I think there's a mark for it, but it's just not in our culture. As so we're thinking more local.
Even if you look at Trinidad, Damien, is the same. Like, it was really weird for me this year because we did an event in Trinidad, right? And we had artists on the show. And the same artists on our show on all the other shows. Like, it's like so like you would leave my fete, right, at a high point to go to another fete at a midpoint for the artist to come and bring you back to it. So you just chasing the highs.
Yeah.
You just actually, and it's not only that, they have a let's just call it a culture where they don't want to pay for tickets. And then like nobody's benefiting from you bringing the vibe from fete to fete to fete. Like it's just like it's better to just concentrate the energy in one place. I think what we have is
I mean, population wise too, it's going to be difficult for us to have successful events like just back to back to back.
For now,
Nobody like that.
For now, yes, but I still do feel some events are just way too long. Like I just feel like honestly, like
Carnival Festival. Like Carnival Festival.
Carnival
Carnival Festival is too long. It's way too long. Like Carnival Festival is way too long. And I've been saying that for years. I mean, like it's I get it's a festival, but it's just way too long. And I think
I'll give you an example.
The same thing was adopted for Sunrise. The same print or the same
time
frame, and it just felt like Sunrise was such an awesome event. Like it was such a good event, but then I got tired, and I hate when I don't like to leave a fete feeling like I want to leave a fete feeling like yes.
It's not just that. The pictures of you leaving the fete is you looking brogodo, man.
Right? You looking like beat up. You looking like you ruffled, like all your feathers wet. You know.
Wet fall, and it must rain. It must rain.
You understand? I don't want that feeling. I want to be able to feel like, like, yeah, we got sunrise. Best all you start sunrise at like 4 a.m. and take it to 10. You know what I mean? Then that gives an opportunity for somebody else who has an event in the night going up into midnight. So people can go home, they can take a snooze for a couple of hours, and they can come to sunrise and they can meet sunrise. Like I had friends who left. I had friends who came specifically to visit. They came from we had friends from Barbados, we had friends from St. Lucia, and they just could not do it anymore. They were just like, we've been here since. Like what if you got tired of it?
I've been struggling to participate in Sunrise because it's just at an odd hour,
Yeah, and I mean we have Viva the next day, so that makes it even tougher, right?
What I like though, if I do say, I like the fact that Sunrise was heavily entertainers base, like artist base, and then Viva comes in with heavily DJ base, so it doesn't feel like you duplicating. You coming from one event and you going to another event that is similar, right? So I feel like the process is nice. The momentum is nice. The build up is nice because it builds up into then a Sunday a little bit more laid back. You dress prettier. And so, I feel like we have a really nice vibe going on for a weekend into Carnival. I just feel like we can have probably another event on Friday, and I feel like we can, and that will kind of break it up a little bit. Like another event on Friday.
Let's put the dead cat on the table, right? Like if you start to compete with Sunrise, then you're going to be competing with GDA and the Ministry of Tourism, and then it just becomes something that's not sustainable for private sector.
But it can't. But it doesn't have to be a competition.
Well, it's the
collaboration
with the current format. That's what he's
Yeah.
talking about. With the current format, it's always going to be a competition, and that's something.
And even if the format was different, right? Like, let's say you had a Friday night event that was, I don't know, 8 p.m. till.
So, for example, they had a boat cruise, the Drift boat
Yeah.
cruise, right? But a lot of people were reluctant, and even friends of mine who wanted to go to Drift, some of them actually bought tickets to go to Drift. They didn't go because they felt they would have missed sunrise, right? Not understanding that sunrise was going to be all till 10 o'clock. Now, if they had gone to Drift, because they could have fully gone to Drift, come back at midnight because the boat was back at midnight, I believe, at 1 a.m. You could take 4 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep, and woken up and gotten sunrise. Because I mean, somebody like Asa was the headliner for Sunrise. I went to see Asa. I went to see.
Well, here's another controversial topic since we just kicking on all these doors tonight. Look, Ian now says Sunrise needs to be held inside the stadium now. They've outgrown the forecourt. I mean, I think it's an accomplishment.
I like the forecourt though. I feel the forecourt creates, because if you take it in the stadium, it becomes more like a festival.
But it doesn't need to use the whole stadium. They can still box it in.
Yeah.
They could, yes, they could. But I feel like I like the tightness of the, like, yes, you call it. And I loved how they did the VIP, how you could transition from one to the next. Like, honestly, I didn't have much problems with them, except the fact that they didn't have tequila. But they got the memo real quick, fast, and in a hurry. And I had a bottle of tequila on my table because I was like, I ain't paying VIP price and you don't have tequila, right? Right, Amp?
Correct is right.
We don't pay VIP price for.
So to your point, that is something that came up because I was actually at a post-mortem meeting with DDA yesterday. So they basically called all the event promoters that had events at the stadium forecourt or Carnival City, as they dubbed it for the season, right? So they just wanted everybody's feedback that did events. So there was a myriad of feedback because you can imagine, like, you have pageants there from the OECS pageant, teenage pageant, Queen, then you have Calypso, you have Amp, you have so there's such a variety of events. There's not going to be a one size fits all. So some things we would not like for the setup. Unfortunately, we have to bite it. We have to bite the bullet because they need it for the pageants. Likewise, the pageants want it, but it doesn't suit Calypso. So there's been a lot of talk about just that, like maybe moving maybe a couple of these events into the actual stadium, while some of maybe the smaller events can stay in the forecourt. But as you know, again, we have limited service providers in Dominica. They're already stretched at Carnival and Independence. So to get the logistics to work out to do two events like that is going to be challenging, but I think it's something to think about for the future because I feel like Sunrise has outgrown the forecourt. And just in terms of the experience of the patron, it's probably not the best. If you're behind the platforms, your experience is not going to be as those in front of the platforms, both from a viewing standpoint and a sound quality standpoint, right? If you're in the VIP platforms, it's going to be very different again from someone at the back. So maybe it's something to think about for the future. Obviously, it's not going to change overnight, but I think those are sort of the conversations we need to have because it's all about improving the experience for the patron. So it's not about the promoters, or it's about experience, improving the experience for the patron. So they need to go back now and look at take all the feedback and see how they can do that for the years to come. But again, I think we're nitpicking. We're being critical like we should because I think it's all constructive. I don't think any of us are trying to be too harsh on any event promoters or DDA. But I think we really need to have this discourse to improve the product because more visitors are coming. As you can see, the Booyah music is bringing more people to our shores. So we need to improve the experience for everyone that's coming for Carnival, whether it be from the teenage pageant all the way up to the street jumper.
Speaking of pageantry, that is something that I feel honestly, I feel like we need a different venue for pageants. Like I feel like we have a really good pageant product. Like all of the pageants were really well. I mean the performances and everything that came down to it were really well done. But I don't think that the venue is the right venue. Like even just where people change and the backstage and all of that. Like I just find like in 2025 for us to still be having like some of the tents don't have mirrors, you know, like like you have to bring your own mirror. They just give you a light, and it just feels very like more needs to be done. Like it's almost like we're not focusing on that aspect of it. And I know there was a little bit of a, you know, they were worried about, you know, ticket sales in terms of, you know, people attending the pageant because there was that kind of a group while happening the same night, you know, and people probably want to go. But pageant to have their audience. And I feel like we cannot pull out of that. But I don't think the forecourt is the best place to have Miss Dominica. Like I just don't feel like that is the best space. I mean, do we have an alternate venue? No. But I don't feel like it's the best setup. Like, and that's just my opinion. I don't know what you guys think.
I'm not sure about I think the space, the venue is okay. For me, I think is the setup that's the issue. For example, backstage is a real issue when it comes to the space for the contestants and all of these things. It's I think it's a major issue because having a contestant going onto stage and not being in the right mindset, it's a problem. So I don't think that the forecourt is an issue. I think it's how they go
Mickey, let
about.
me ask you a question. What if we had a rain, like really heavy rain that night?
So that's what I'm saying. Is a setup. I think the backstage could be set up in a certain way that could accommodate or make reservations for rain and these things. It's how it's set up because when you go into a tent, or I call it a cubicle, if I have to set up a dress on a mannequin, the dress is going to be dragging on the ground. So that is an issue. And everything has to be displayed because the judges have to come to your booth to judge the dress, judge the swimsuit, judge your costume, and all of these things has to be displayed on mannequin. But when you get a 10 by 10 space to work with, you have chaperones, you have all these outfits, you have mannequins in there, you have costumes in there, you have a table in there, you have makeup in there. In a 10 by 10,
Hair.
it's no space to work with. And I mean, everything is progress. I mean, we have to look at what works and what doesn't work, but I think we've done it enough to know what needs to be fixed at that point. So I do agree with you, but I don't necessarily think that it's the forecourt. Maybe it's just the whole logistics of the setup.
Damien, you had an event the same night, the same day as a pageant, or the day leading into.
No. So the day leading into the pageant, yeah. So our event was on Saturday night, that ended at 4, and the pageant starts for the next day. So there was ample time, but again, um, there's so many events there that need slightly different setups, and there's only so much you can do within a short time frame. So, for instance, we weren't going to use the high-rise VIP. So what we had to do, and obviously we would have had to cover the cost for that because any customizations to the venue would have to be on us, because basically DFC would give you the layout and say, okay, this is what you have to work with. If there anything that needs to be changed, that's on you guys and the service provider. So in this instance, we were working with Arden because where the technical area was, which they would call front of stage, and the judging area was actually where our main bar was going to be for our general patrons. So as you can imagine, we would have had to remove all the technical equipment, all the raised platform, and then build the bar counters in underneath. So it was good that the high rise was there because it we were able to utilize the space under it. So that's where we built our main bar. But of course, if you build it, you then have to break it down for to prepare for the next event. And again, because service providers, these guys are, and kudos to the guys, because a lot of these guys, it's one team they have to do all the events, and these guys were all over the country doing events. I don't know when they were letting sleep, but I digress. So these guys, I really want to give them their props. So big up Arden, GX, all the service providers. But these guys are then tired. They do the whole event setup, and now they have to come and break down in the early hours of the morning. So there's that fatigue, and then safety and all that thing. So I think, so on behalf of the service providers, I think we need to see how we can have like shift systems, and maybe you make your crew a bit bigger so that you can have guys that can do, some guys focus on the setup while some guys focus on the breakdown. Obviously, you add a cost, but they're taking more jobs and so on. So I think that is, as the industry grows, you're going to find that that's naturally going to grow as well, because after a certain time, you're not going to be able to do the big sort of quality setups and breakdowns that is going to require. So I just want to say, like, thanks to all the service providers, but I think we need to improve in terms of having separate crews to do some of this work, because it's a lot of hard work, and what you find is that something is going to lapse, right? So something is not going to be done to the standard, or it's going to be late, and you're going to be rushing to get one show ready after one has ended, and that's basically what happened for some events. Like, I know after Sunrise, there were challenges getting the show ready for the event ready, sorry, the venue ready for Calypso, and that was voiced on the postmortem yesterday. Sunrise finished at whatever time, 11 o'clock or so. You have Calypso coming up at 8, and there's a lot of prep that goes into that. Our event finished at 4. You have 12 hours basically to get everything ready for teenage pageant. So we need to just improve in that area, work together, and I guess have better communication leading up. So that's one of the things that came out of yesterday's meeting as well. Just better communication all throughout, before and during and after having these postmortems. Um, but the event venue definitely needs some work. And like I said, there's not going to be any one size that fits all. You're going to have to do customization. So it's really on the event promoter to have to pay extra to do any sort of customization. So it becomes a cost, right? So again, that is something that Dominica lacks. I think we all doing events here know that we just lack venues in Dominica. We just
That is a problem. That is a problem.
serious shortage of venues. I
And we
would
have
even
so
like to
and
do.
we and it rains so much during our season. Thank God it didn't have as much rain as you know we normally have had in the past.
So even somewhere like Arawak that had the indoor facility, that have the acoustics built in, that is maybe a venue that, I mean, I don't know where they are now with the whole renovation, but that is something that maybe can be looked at for future pageants, because you don't have weather to worry about. Everybody's indoors. The judges have a good vantage point. So yeah, but we definitely lack in venues. I'm not sure how we're gonna solve it. I know you're looking for solutions. That one, I really don't know how we're gonna solve. We probably just need more private investment, as it comes to having these venues that other people can actually pay to use. So if
Yes.
somebody builds it, then people will come, and people will obviously rent it out. So that's
Yes.
something for future discussion.
So I think we touched on a lot of things here tonight. I think we touched a lot on the music. We touched on one of the areas I wanted to touch on were like the people who won. Like like how satisfied we were with the winnings. I mean, women dominated in the arena this season. I mean, 2 nights ago, I had all of the winners from the different pageants slash events that were competitions that were held over the season, and it was dominated by women. We saw people like King Dice, who is the 10-time Calypso King, not able to retain his crown for another, being dethroned by Joy. We saw, and first of all, King Dice's song, his first song. Um, Look at that out. That out, fix your face. His first song, like I was kind of surprised that that it lasted as long as it lasted. And I'll say that. Why I say that? I say that because the song sounded very similar to another song in the past. And it wasn't necessary. It wasn't his song. It was actually a song by Young Bull. I think it was 2014. Um, that is very versed in that department. He can correct me if I'm wrong. But it just sounded like it was the same song sang with different words on it. Like it just sounded like to me. So I was just like, okay, all right. And somebody like me, I've been very heavily involved in Calypso from being on radio, hosting Calypso programs, my radio days. I mean, I've kind of taken a back seat with Calypso because every time I felt like I've kind of reached out, again, they don't think what I do is in a professional capacity. They think that I'm doing it for thank you or for exposure. So I tend to back out of certain things. But I felt like it was, you know, so I wasn't surprised that somebody else won the crown in that instance. I see probably the judges had got a insight or something. But I personally felt like every single person who won was very deserving of the win. You know, some years you just say "Borje de vole," you know. You will always people always say they vole, but you know when it's blatant when they start throwing stuff on the stage, you know that that person just did not deserve to win, right? And I think it was very much the crowd definitely said that they appreciated each of the winners. I don't know if you guys have anything to say about the competitors, the winners, and what you felt overall. I know some of you may not have attended events, or you may just have listened, and or gotten feedback from others who may have attended. What is your take on that? Damien, we have you on the screen. So
Yeah, well, like you said, I didn't get to attend a lot of the pageants, but from what I seen and the general consensus and sentiment was that everybody that won was very deserving. I didn't see like a lot of like what you see in normal years where they volley for them, they volley, that is yeah. So I didn't see that this year, so it was very gratifying to see that like at least there was consensus among the general population that the winners were indeed the winners on the particular nights or the days. So again, I just want to give kudos to all those that keeping the tradition alive. So it's good to see the pageants, teenage pageant, it's good to see the Booyah Monarch, the junior Booyah Monarch and Calypso Monarch. I like to see that. To me, it had kind of died out over the years, and I see it making a comeback. So again, that's keeping the culture alive. I'm glad they introduced the junior Booyah aspect to it. Maybe it's time discussing a Booyah Monarch. Like we're in the land of Booyah right now, and we have a Soca Monarch, we have a Calypso Monarch, we have a Calypso Road Match. I see Robbie and Emil did the popular Booyah Monarch for this road match, the Booyah Road Match. But why don't we have a Booyah Monarch? Maybe
well,
that's
you know we had that before, eh?
yes,
We
there
had
was, but
before. That's why Kali next is still the reigning queen from how many
yeah,
years ago?
but before, so one of the issues that I heard was basically they didn't incentivize it enough for the big guns to really want to participate. So that was one of
It
the
was
things
not.
that
It
I
was not
heard.
always well attended too. Like I've been to every single one of the Bouillon Monarch
But
competitions.
there, if you don't have the big guns, it's not gonna be. If you don't have the real popular Booyah artists, you're
Sure.
not gonna attract that crowd. So it's a chicken and the egg. You have to have the big Booyah artists there and incentivize it enough, put a big enough cash prize that the patrons will come out and support. So that
But
is
we had a
something that
Bouillon Day. What did you think about Bouillon Day though? Like,
I actually like the
yes, we
Booyah
did
Day, but
have Bouillon Monarch, but like I don't think we need a Monarch. Honest to God, I don't think we need another Bouillon Monarch. Because when would we put it, Damien? We'll put it during AMP. That
put
is the
it
only
on
time.
Booyah Day. Put it on Booyah Day. Why can't go on Booyah Day?
I
You have
love
the
I
Booyah
love the but I
Day.
love the street vibe of Bouillon Day. The fact that it just
You,
felt very
yeah, you like a freeness.
no,
You
just the
like
street vibe. I love the street. It's not even the freeness. It's the fact that it was. The street vibes always feels more authentic to me. It just
I know
feels
what you're saying, but I still think that we need, if we're in the land of Booyah, why not have a Booyah Monarch? We need to revisit that, in my opinion. So I think that is something that maybe we can take, some people can take offline, but I think we need to have a Booyah Monarch. Why not?
Yeah, great.
Devin.
Yes, hi. Hi.
I waited for your views.
I think we need a Booyah Monarch. And like I said before, I think we need a Booyah Festival. You know, I mean, that could lead up into the whole thing. I mean, I think we need to do more development of products to bring people to Dominica. Like you look at other places, like Antigua has Sailing Week. You look at they have crop over in Barbados. Like you can have multiple things here in Dominica. Right now, we have three things. Right, we have Carnival,
Jazz
Jazz, and Creole.
Korean Festival.
So I mean, this summer, I know the problem with this summer is that we have the hurricane season, obviously, but
There's June, I mean early June at least, which is hurricane season
well,
too.
the thing you have to keep in mind, right, is that there is a carnival every month in multiple places. Right?
But,
Yep.
So,
but we're trying to keep it in a time frame that people can actually. I mean, honest to God, if I had to do an event, I would not do an event in June, July, August, September. That is just like it's
all right, so
just
let's take out June, July, August, September. Let's eliminate those months, right?
yeah.
October is Trail Festival.
Mhm.
November is Uber Silver Cruise. December and Thanksgiving. December is Christmas
Christmas.
and New Year's.
And
January, people Brooks. February, people's recovering for Carnival.
still broke.
Next year, by the way, Carnival is happening
In
like
February. Yes,
early,
Yeah,
early
my
February.
birthday. It falls right on my birthday. That's I tell you, they can't
Right?
move that.
So JL, that was another one of my points that I did a whole presentation and they said they changed the date. That's another one of my points. People broke coming out of Christmas. And that's what happened. That's what happened. So last year Carnival, while it was good, if it wasn't for the diasporans and the visitors last year Carnival would be dread. Because people were broke. It was early February, February 7th. It was very early and people
10th,
didn't
9th
have,
and 10th.
right. So people didn't have the disposable income. So even like a lot of the feds leading up to Carnival, if it wasn't for the diasporans, some of the feds would have flopped. And it's a fact, right? So again, that date is a very tough date because you're recovering from you just do Creole Festival. You spend how much money to go out, all free night, all the feds. Christmas, you have to buy your children gifts. You have to
Oh,
buy
and you
the
have to paint. You have to paint your house. You have to buy your
right.
little carpet.
New Year's, people going out for New Year's, All Year's night, and so on. And then January, the longest month. January have like 50 days. So like by the time February come around, you broke. Then you have to worry about Carnival ban. So I feel like if you space it out more, you put it in May, people have more disposable income.
So
Feds
what date you looking at, Damien? May?
May.
May Day weekend, where jazz is now. Because okay, let's talk frank. We're talking frank here. Honestly, how much people has jazz bring to Dominica?
Oh, so
Because they are
you're saying to usurp jazz.
no, I'm not saying you serve jazz. You make jazz a summer festival.
There's nothing about it. How would it be usurped?
Jazz is predominantly a locally attended event.
It
Am I
is.
wrong?
It is.
Yes.
You are
Correct.
correct.
Correct. So at that time, it doesn't really bring in the visitors that we're looking to bring in. I know it's mandated. They've kind of built it up like it's a tourism product, but the long and short, it really isn't. How many people come to Dominica just for jazz?
But the question,
Right?
the other question, right, since we going into this is why? Why are
What do you
tourists
mean?
not coming to Dominica for jazz?
Why?
Mhm.
Boy, honestly,
I'll tell you why. The reason why is
I
because it's right after Carnival, right? And the other reason is it's right before the next carnivals. So the other carnival that you have to like the thing about it, right? The Dominicans, just like the Trinidadians, Trinidad thinks Trinidad is the center of the universe. Dominica thinks Dominica is the center of the universe. The fact is that people have other objectives, and there are other carnivals and other places that people want to go. And let me tell you something: in April, people want to go to Jamaica. And Jamaica is quickly picking up steam much, much, much faster than St. Lucia even could be. Jamaica is poised to pass Trinidad Carnival in participation.
But Jamaica is still largely more a bougie carnival.
I don't agree. So let me tell you something about Jamaica, right? There are 15 American Airlines flights landing in Jamaica every day. That's one airline.
Yeah.
There's Delta, JetBlue, Spirit. Bro, planes, the only place in the Caribbean where planes are landing more than Jamaica is Bahamas.
It is.
It's a massive, like I remember I was in Dominica for Christmas, bro, and we didn't have gas and we couldn't go on lime and drink sorrel. And I was like, bro, let me get out of here. Where can I go? And Jamaica's like, yeah, you can get a ticket for $200 and just come. I'm just like, bro, like it's unreal. It's unreal. So like we don't have the infrastructure.
But Evan, but I still feel like so we still on this date. May there's still gives you time. You do.
I like May. I like May, but we have to build from scratch on May.
There are people that do all carnivals. Like no matter what, I don't know what jobs they work in, but they do all carnivals. They find the money to do all carnivals. So they look at the calendar. They say, okay, Trinidad, February, maybe Dominica, 1 year, 2 years. Then they look, okay, Jamaica next. Then you may have Dominica in May.
Some people do
Then you have
St. Martin, and they do
St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Barbados, Grenada. That's the sequence. Then you have London, Notting Hill, August. Then you have Miami, right?
October.
So everything is a sequence. So the fact that you're not really competing.
I feel like you're attacking me, Damien, because I do most of those. You're attacking me? I feel like this is a
but that's part of your job. Jael, that's part of your job because right?
You have too much good time.
No, because I just realized I was like, I do all of these.
That's part of your job because it's about content, it's about promotion, marketing. So that's part of your job. I'm talking about people with like regular 9 to 5s. I don't know how they do it, but they find themselves at all these carnival who calling in sick and trying not to be in videos and all that thing. Let me tell you, people find very creative ways there. But like I'm saying, it's a sequence to thing. So like all the carnivals line up, and I feel if you were able to do a traditional mass in February, so like you do your old mass, all of that thing, you do your village openings, and then you have your commercial, your carnival, that's a real business. You do it in May where you're able to attract more people to your shows. That's me. I've said my piece, but I will let the others talk now. I know it's not a popular opinion, but I feel like we lost the opportunity when it was COVID. So the year they actually did a COVID carnival under the COVID protocols, I felt that was the perfect opportunity to do a pilot run of carnival in May because you're giving yourself more time to recover from the pandemic. And to me, that just would have been like a logical, you'd say, oh, it was because, so you could actually position it and say, it's because of the pandemic, we pushed it back. We wanted to make sure things were at a more acceptable level. And I thought that would have been that was a missed opportunity. So maybe the time for that has passed. And I have to live with the fact that it's going to be February or March every year when the disposable income is low.
Mickey, I want to bring you into the conversation to share your views on the discussion, the current discussion.
I think the change of dates, but like I expressed before, I think the change of dates at this point is I don't think it would have the impact that we would want it to. I do agree that we missed the chance during COVID, but now that we're kind of picking up, I think it's the wrong time to change dates.
Okay. Dada, anything you want to share?
Yeah, I don't know, but I think
not just on the dates, but also on the events, the winnings, the people. Because we started off with that conversation, and we ended up in the date change conversation.
Well, I want to touch on that date of carnival thing. It come and go a couple of times, you know. So, but concerning the pageants and the competitions, I think the results were good. I personally didn't have a chance to attend any of them because, you know, I just didn't have the time. But like as you say, you know, I didn't nobody shouting fall, eh? and things like that. So Dominicans are ready. When they don't feeling good, they just make it known,
Mickey had a post. Mickey had a post about the cut eyes that has happened backstage. Mickey, what was the post? What was the kind of cut eyes that you have to be? You have to have a special something. You have to be built a special way for those cut eyes that has been happening backstage.
It's very intense. It can be very intense backstage for me. And I guess it's because everybody have their contestant that they want to win, and I can identify with that. So okay, so here's the thing. I design and I produce evening wear for the teenage for the pageants. So I do teenage pageants and I do queen show. So there may be times that I may employ more than one contestant, depending on how things go. So, for example, this year I worked with three contestants for Queen Show, one for swim and two for evening and swim. But people always ask, like, how as a designer you work with more than one contestant? Do you employ some form of preference for one over the other? And I always try to set the record straight on that. No, I don't. I am able to work with more than one contestant objectively, because when I design and when I produce, I do that based on personality. Everybody is different, and you sort of want to bring the whole point of designing for somebody is really to bring out their platform and to bring out their personality in whatever way that they wish to. So I am able to execute that effectively. But some people do not understand that. So backstage, you will find if you walk through and you feel like you're walking through a thick cloud of, air, because people
But
are
yeah,
just
you walking through, not here.
and it can be really, intimidating, because you turn this way and you see that person looking at you like, okay, like, and then that this other one. But it's not that you favor anybody. I work well with everybody, and the contestants that I've worked with so far, they know that it's okay, even if I'm working with somebody else, that they're still gonna get 100% from me. So I mean, this year was a bit intense, and I felt it, and I that post was just being funny. But for me, this season, beside that form of intensity, this season was good for me. My seasons are always good, but I think it was my worst, because I experienced a lot of difficulties where my shipment for my fabric was concerned. So when DFC decided to launch the contestants to the night of the competition, it was a really short time frame. So the contestants and all the stakeholders, everybody involved, didn't really have much time to, do what they had to do or get things rolling in order for things to work well on that night. So we had little time to place order. We had little time, people had little time to practice, people had little time to push their platforms, to do whatever they had to do. So my issue was with ordering of my fabric, but I held on. I did what I had to do.
I was
So
I was greatly affected by that.
yeah, yeah. So my fabric, I ordered my fabric for my contestants, and I did not get 75% of my fabric, because I have my suppliers, different areas, but this year I ordered everything from China. Now, China was on, they were just going into their holiday. So it got shipped after. And when it got shipped, that's when Trump passed this sort of thing where, that trade thing with China. So the material got to the US, let's say the Friday, it got to the customs on Friday, and I could see, the details, the shipping details and everything for the courier, online. And it was supposed to have been shipped to my freight forwarder it was supposed to have gotten to them on the Monday. But when I went on Monday to look at the progress, I'm seeing that there was nothing. Like all the information just disappeared. everything disappeared. It's like there was no evidence that the item was actually shipped anymore or anything. But I did have the tracking number. So I went to the courier and I told them, okay, so we had this. It came to the US. We got the updates and everything. They knew that. But then the month everything just disappeared. And up to this day, we do not know where the fabric is. So the at the courier service, they told me that, well, recently the last thing I got from them was that what they can assume happened was that the fabric arrived at customs in the US. It was not shipped, it was not processed or anything, because it arrived there during the time. It actually arrived the exact period during which Trump decided that, they were doing whatever, shuffling that whatever trade agreement with China and things change. So what they said was that they're assuming that the product got to the customs US, got to the customs in the US, and they halted on the processing. And although it was temporary, they realized that when things got back on track, everything that had gotten to the customs during that time, that it was just considered null and void, and the new packages were what being processed. So I just have to consider it being lost. So I now have to find a way to replace the people's fabric, because I got the funds from the customers to purchase their fabric. So now I have to push my hands in my pocket to replace and purchase the people's fabric. So it was, it was a good season, but it was also bad for me. But I'm still thankful for it, because I got best dress for Miss Teen, like, I got, even Miss Teen fabric was included in that.
Yeah.
But listen to that, I didn't get Miss Teen's fabric, so I had to purchase alternative. And on the night of the show,
The
the
fabric.
fabric that I ordered for Gabi, I saw it on another contestant, and I was like, wow, look at that. What are the odds? I
Yeah.
mean, it's not the fabric that I ordered, but I'm saying, had I gotten the fabric,
Yes.
both of them would
I
have
would
been
have
there
had
in
the
the
same
same
dress.
fabric. So I'm saying, well, it worked out well for me that I didn't get her fabric, but she still got best dress and all of that. But for Queen Show, it didn't work out that well for me. I did 3 swimsuits for Queen Show. I did Mia, I did Alia, and I did La Vida. So the story of La Vida's swimsuit. La Vida did not contact me for a swimsuit, right? But I went down to clean up my store, because I'm familiar with how they can be last minute and all of that. So I went down to clean up the store, and then say, you know what, I have this piece of fabric there. I'm going to make a swimsuit for La Vida, because I know at some point La Vida is going to call me for a swimsuit. And I made the swimsuit. I stopped sewing. I made the swimsuit, Jael, and 2 hours after, Lavida called for a swimsuit, because it was last minute and they had to, get things rolling. And I was like, look at this. Look at how things work. It's like you have to be passionate really about what you do. And if you are, then things fall in place. So it's like it was a tough season, really, but things fell in place. It didn't, I don't think I produced my best when it came to the evening wear. I did get best swim, that is with Mia. I really loved La Vida swim. I loved all the swim, but La Vida stood out to me. But in the evening wears, I didn't think I don't think I did how I wanted to. I don't think I produced as well as I would have wanted to. So with all of this, it wasn't my best season, but I got through it.
But thank you very much, Mickey, for sharing that with us. The other guys, I want to know about their season. So, like, in their opinion, because they also had events and they also did things. So, Damien is back on. We know we spoke about the event in general, like all of the events, but we didn't speak specifically to your specific niche and what you do. And I know you did AMP and you were also a stakeholder in Viva. So share with us, your opinion or your views on those events, and what we can expect moving forward. We're at the point where we're shutting down. You on mute. Sorry, you on mute. Go ahead. Go ahead. Damien, we're not hearing you. You're completely, I don't know if you probably, something came in and we're not hearing you at all. Not sure what happened. Um, Probably jump out and jump back on so we can. Dada, are you able to come in? I see, notice. Can you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes. Just we know that you did party with Marshall. Talk to us about your season and what was some of the highs and lows for you.
Well, for me, well, first I want to touch on the dates, the date change. So long I try and give a little pushback on that. um, I think the date of Carnival changing is a bad idea, and it's a good thing it never happened during COVID because it will kill Carnival completely, and then I'll put it back. Dominica Carnival is not strong enough to stand up on its own. You can do the world of marketing. The Booyah product wasn't. It's premature. The only reason why the Carnival, the only reason why Booyah survived all these years is because Carnival is the date it's in. So it's like Carnival is Carnival, and we're going to celebrate Carnival at that time. If you shift the dates, put it another time where it's out of rhythm with the culture, then we're going to that means no, it's not really based on culture anymore. Even if you try to make it about culture, and then the music is going to be heavily impacted by that, and it's really going to sink. It's like I don't see it working at all. Like I said, the only reason why Carnival Booyah music survive all this that lull from the WCK and all the changes that happened was because of Carnival being the time when it naturally is. You understand? I can see for the commercial side of the thing, but I just feel like if we take it out there, because music is so young, and we don't have the population and support that the other islands have. Dominica is very small. If we do a thing so, we risking coming like Saint Lucia. I mean, nothing wrong with Saint Lucia, but Saint Lucia don't have this. It's like in Dominica, Dominica have a very strong cultural background. You understand? And that's what drives our music. We like Jamaica. It's like so. There's a few islands in the Caribbean that have a real strong cultural background. Haiti is one. Jamaica is one. Trinidad, Dominica. You understand? You can say Barbados and the other islands, for certain things, but these islands really produce the most genres of music. You understand? These four islands, they produce the most influential genres of music, right? Dominica is part of it, and that is because of the rhythm that we have with our culture. And so that's why I think that if they did a Carnival change, it's a good thing it didn't happen during COVID, because like I said, if they had tried that and they would have put it right back, because when they see the Carnival that's flop, everything's going to flop, 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 flop. And then guess what? The band's gonna go foreign because they made a weekend. We're talking about the other Carnival's gonna make a weekend. Man, taking bookings, they're gone. You understand? The
That
Carnival
is like it's going flop, 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 flop,
yeah,
flop.
man, everything was dead.
Damien, Dada is not on that with you.
No, I'm never on that. Because
So that's
the
fine.
thing is,
We have to disagree. I mean, respectfully, I respect his opinion. So
yeah, I
that's
mean,
not a
I
problem.
understand what the point, Damien made, you understand?
The commercial aspect of it. I mean, I understand too,
Yeah.
honestly. I understand what he's saying. And I mean, if I had to think of it from a business perspective only, I would get it.
Yeah, it
But
makes
I
sense.
think it's yes, we think of it as a business, and we should think of it as a business as well. But we also do not want to lose, because sometimes when we think of things as a business, we forget the traditional aspects of it. We forget a lot of what really fuels it.
Yeah.
And what really fuels it is the music, and
Yeah, the
you make
music.
a very strong point.
That's it. So, like I said, if listen, man, I telling you, I've been involved in this thing my whole life. You understand? I'm telling you, right? Because I've been to Saint Lucia Carnival, I've been to Vinci Carnival, I've been to Cropova, I've been to all these carnivals. You understand? They just don't have the same kind of spirit like us. Like you see when a carnival.
I
So
tell
with that
people that all the time. I tell people that all the time. Like people have always said to me, like, Jael, like, what is it? Because people think that I favor Dominica Carnival over Trinidad Carnival because I'm a Dominican, but it has absolutely nothing to do with that. I prefer the fetes in Trinidad over the fets in Dominica. The fets, like I would do Monday to Thursday in Trinidad, live Trinidad, and be in Dominica for Carnival.
Yep.
Dominica Carnival is the best I've
Yeah,
ever had by far,
By far.
by far. Like, and I've been to plenty Carnival. I've been going to Carnival since I'm 19 years old. I'm 42, nearly 42, right?
Yeah.
I understand what it is like to go to Carnival. I've spent a lot of money on Carnival.
But you see, Jael, you kind of strengthening my point, because Carnival is the entire product. You're thinking of the street jumper, and I agree, nothing can touch our road experience. We have the most spontaneous jump up experience. You don't have to be in a band. You can be jumping from band to band. I agree with all of that. But you see, that is where we need to improve the entire Carnival product from the events leading up 2 weeks before. You can't just think of Carnival from Friday to Tuesday.
But you see, but Damien, I don't need to do the 2 weeks before. Like, I'm okay going to Trinidad.
That is you, but we need people. But we need that's you there. But we need people.
That is,
we need
who's
people
going to do it? Who?
What?
Who's going to do all of these events leading up to Carnival? That's wishful thinking. We just don't have the population or the economy.
We don't.
But at least a week before Carnival, think of it. We were able to change the culture for independence. Nobody
I'm telling you, but that is because you know why it happened. It was
hold on, Jael. Stick up in there, please. Sorry to cut you. That, you see, we have to change our way of thinking. Before Rise and Wine, shameless plug again. Before Rise and Wine, very few visitors used to come to Dominica before for such a long period for independence. They used to come the Tuesday, the Wednesday, the Thursday, or even the Friday for Creole Festival. Am I right?
That's true. I'm one of those.
Right. In 2018, when we started Rise and Wine, we saw a immediate increase. It wasn't like a significant, but year upon year, if you look at DDA's numbers, you've seen the statistics where every year now, people are coming earlier for independence and staying longer. So why not?
But that is not just.
Yeah, but that is just an additional event. That's just an additional event. There was no date change.
No, I don't think it's a just. I think that Rise and Wine deserves the flowers of that. But the thing about it is that Independence time is our most repatriated time in Dominica, more so than Carnival, right? The attention isn't split with anything else. People are going to Dominica, right? And before Rise and Wine, people were coming to Dominica earlier because they were trying to take part in the Creole in the Park.
Creole in the Park.
Which has always been a staple and was sponsored by the telecommunications sector.
And I was actually going to say that. That was what I was going to say.
And it was a free event, right? And it was impactful and significant.
It was a free event, and it was also very culturally inclined. Like it tied back into the culture.
Then not only that, they also had some major acts and investments that they made into that festival and that time frame. So I think that was already a very strong thing that was happening. So Rise and Wine coming on the front end of that allowed people an opportunity to extend their trips just slightly, and I think that is impactful. But when you look at Dominica for Carnival, before Thursday, it have nothing happening in Rosabro except for I
was this year. Let me tell you, Damien, Damien and Devin, this year, I did not feel Carnival until after Go Poil. Like not even like I just
that needs to change. We need to lengthen the season.
Yes, I don't disagree with you, but like
we need more events leading up.
I agree.
So that's
I
why
agree.
People will I did the same thing you're talking about, Jael. I went to Trinidad for all the events leading up, and I didn't do the jump. I come back Dominica for the jump because there's nothing like the Dominica jump up experience.
Hands down.
But in order to improve the entire product, we need to build around the jump up. It's not just about the jump.
Agreed.
So
I agree with that.
All these other events, right? So I'm not speaking specifically about changing the date. I'm just saying product on a whole needs to improve around the actual jump up. That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about the date.
Agreed, 100%.
Yes.
Agreed.
Devin, did you give your final words about? No, you did not speak about to your event because you did Citrus, in Trinidad. You did Viva like you were in Trinidad, and the next day in Dominica for to prepare for that was madness though, by the way. Like let me just slide that in
So
there.
I
Like
mean,
first of all, let me just say how impressed I am from seeing a little bit of your back end of it in Miami, because thank you again for inviting me in my capacity, or I should say, employing me in my capacity to attend your events in Miami. And I got to kind of see, and I was like, how do you like? I saw you putting on like 8 events in like 5 days, or was it 5 days or 6 days? 8 events in 6 days or something like that. It was, and now you're doing it in Trinidad and Dominica. You in the space of a couple of days having citrus. I see
well,
people on the live
that
saying citrus Dominica, like
it,
somebody.
it, it goes back to the conversation we are having earlier, right? It's a business, right? So we put the proper procedures in place to make sure that these things can happen. There's a lot of planning that happens behind the scenes. And you see, like one of the frustrations I have with doing these Dominican sponsored events is the time frames that they do their planning. Our planning time frames are year round. We plan for this year and last year. Like we're not planning for it now. So that's why these things are able to happen. They happen back to back. Not only did we do those several events in the span of a week, but the week that exact, so our last event in Miami was on Tuesday, and I was in Dominique on Friday so that we could do Creole Festival the weekend after. And also we had things happening at the Realm, at Dorn, and all of that stuff was still going on. So it just takes planning. It's a job.
It's
You know,
treated as a
it
business.
is
Treated
my
as a
job. So
business.
I take it seriously, and I take the same approach that I've always had in corporate America, in my corporate American jobs, and applied it here. Simple project management. Things have to happen ahead of schedule. And it's a thing that we have to fight, because even when we're doing our productions on the field, our service providers are like, oh, the event is tomorrow. Like we have to like, no, no, no. You cannot be setting up tomorrow. It has to finish now, because we have to make sure that it meets the quality control standards that we set. So like it's a whole machine.
I have a question for you, as it relates to Viva, because I'm hearing different numbers. I don't know if you want to share, but some people are saying, oh, over 6,000 people who had Viva, who had Viva this year. It
Uh,
felt like it was a lot.
people will say what they want, but the truth and fact is that Viva was nice at the airport. We had a nice turnout at the airport. I think one of the things that we took for granted is how dark it was going to be at the
My
airport. We didn't
God,
have
it
any
was so
lighting.
dark.
Like we
I
actually,
mentioned that. Yeah, I mentioned that. Like it
yeah, I
was.
saw it in your review, but
Yeah.
we had that as part of our. We actually going into Viva, we took it upon ourselves to change lighting providers and all this stuff in hopes that we would have had better lighting, and they tried their best. But even with the new space, like you have to remember, there's never been an event at the airport before.
In the night. Bike
There's never
fest.
there's never
Bike,
been a bike fest. Is not a party.
I guess, yeah.
So like just it's a lot. And also like the thing about the airport too is it's very narrow, so it gives you that kind of long vibes. And not only that, but when we do our events, we take careful efforts to make sure that it's an experience, right? You can get all the food that you need, you can get all the drinks that you need. We don't allow vending outside the event. That helps with traffic, it helps with public safety. All the vendors are inside the event. You don't have to leave, you don't have to go out and come back. So like there are a lot of factors that you have to consider, but we really enjoyed having the event at the airport, and we did our best to maintain the integrity of the airport, and we cleaned it back to the best of our ability, and we broke down as fast as we could, and hopefully we're welcome to come back. That's pretty much where that is at this point.
Yeah.
You don't tell
So
me
then,
about success. Like you
yeah.
just brush over it like as if it was just another day in the pool. Go uptown to Harlem, tell him that I sent you.
Hey, listen, like I just said a while ago, it was another day at the office. Like,
Yeah.
it's my office.
On to the next. On to the
On to
next
the
now.
next. Yeah,
Planning they planning for Viva St. Lucia, then obviously Miami Carnival coming up. Then you
not
have
not even there, bro. Like we have like there's more events
Jamaica.
coming. There's Viva
Jamaica.
Jamaica as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
So we are. I mean, again, like Devin said, this is year-round planning. This is what we do for a living. It's not a hobby. It's not a hobby where the event is coming up. time is coming up. Let's plan. No, we're thinking about our events year round, around the clock. I go to sleep thinking about events. I know Devin is the same way. So just to follow up on that, Viva was amazing. I think everybody welcomed the change of venue this year. From the time we dropped the change of venue, I mean, we just saw like in terms of like trending and in terms of engagement, everybody was just glued in because they did not want to go back in the lab. They definitely did not want to go back in the lab of Newtown, and the change was so when they saw that the airport
And
is
we barely had a rain. I mean, there were
but
moments. There
you
were
see
some
how
moments
you see how things work out. You go to a new venue with concrete, hardly any rain. But if we go back to town, you
without
have
rain.
torrential downpours
Like
coming.
water wouldn't have enough water.
Let me tell you, life is funny like that. But like David said, it was a really great experience this year. We believe that obviously there's like anything else, there's always room for improvement. So we had our post-mortem last night. So we already spoke about how we're going to improve things at the airport. Lighting is one consideration. So how we're going to improve things for 2026. Um, in terms of the other event I was a part of, again leading up to Carnival. So this is one of the things that we're trying to do to lengthen the Carnival season. So it's actually the Saturday before Carnival weekend.
I'll tell you that my cousin normally comes on the Wednesday before Carnival, but because we had attended AMP last year, she's like, I'm not missing that. So she and most people that we were affiliated with came down the week before.
Yeah, so that is actually the feedback we got since last year. So as soon as it ended last year, people were texting us, hitting us up on IG. What's the date for 2025? So they were already planning their travel around the app date, like they do for Rise and Wine. So that's really the goal to give patrons and give visitors another weekend they can enjoy. So there's wine down on Sunday. So right now you have a full weekend of activities. You have two solid staple events now for the carnival leading up to the actual week of carnival. So you have Amped on the Saturday, you have Wind Down on the Sunday, so you know you can come from the Friday or the Saturday morning and your weekend set. Then, so that's why now we need more events during the week. So you need stuff Monday, Tuesday, when there are visitors on the island. So you need,
True.
yeah, they want to do the sightseeing and that sort of thing, but come nighttime, they're looking for nightlife. It's not
Yeah,
all
I,
about
I feel like the one pots and all of that can do something. I honestly don't feel like we need big events those days.
It doesn't have to be crazy,
it
you know.
doesn't have to be.
But we need to have stuff. We need to have stuff. I agree.
You know what actually occurred to me a few years ago, even in Trinidad, which is the Mecca, going into Carnival week, a lot of the events, apart from the major concerts for the major artists like cast show, voice show, whatever. The other events are quite small, like 1,000 and less, and a lot of the events actually take place on boats. Yeah, so
Yeah.
probably what needs to happen for Dominica is to get a boat from one of the nearby islands to come to port.
A suitable party boat, but it has to be attractive enough for
Yes.
them to come because they can't come from Grenada or come from St. Lucia and do one party. They're not going to make their money back, right?
No, but
So-
I think we could get party cruises Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. So you have to make it attractive enough for the boat to want to come.
Yeah.
I think the main thing is to source the boat, right? Maybe when we get like even in St. Lucia, they don't have big boats. Their boats are not much bigger.
Yeah,
But Barbados does.
Barbados has less now because of the hurricane. It mashed up.
It mashed up a few of them.
The Jolly Roger and then the other one, the Dream Chaser, they got badly damaged by the hurricane this past hurricane season.
So, Damon, you think like some of the boats in Barbados may be willing to come to Dominica for the season?
Well, those were the two main boats. The Dream
And
Chaser and they got severely compromised, right? So I think there's the one, the Buccaneer, that's more barge.
Yeah, but the Buccaneer doesn't go out, does it?
No, it does.
Really?
It does go out, yeah. It does go out. But what you find, so like for instance, Lima's Cruise, it's a bunch of catamarans. So that is something that actually,
But we
if
don't
we
even have those catamarans, you know. Like the
we
closest place
don't,
you can get some of those things from, like I was even in Saint Lucia when I went for Carnival. A lot of the parties go on boats too. So like, what you
yeah,
find is like
that is a missing,
the thing about
that
boat
is a
parties is
missing
that they
component.
feel
That is when you compare the other islands with our product, that is a missing component to
yeah.
our carnival. It's
Yeah.
just like you go Barbados, there are a bunch of boat crews every day. There's a boat cruise
Miami,
inside.
you have boat cruise. Like Miami, actually,
So
Carnival in Miami starts off on boat cruise. And
so that's
Yeah,
one.
we only have
That's
two
a
boats.
void. That's a void, but we don't have the facilities like you see. So the same way we don't have venues, we don't have boats to do those boat cruises on. So you
Yeah,
have to make it attractive enough.
and we're
Get
not
us.
talking about no strings, eh, guys? Like when we say boat, we're not trying to diss no strings. We're talking
No,
about
no,
like
no.
boats that
Boats that are actually built for this.
for that.
Like that is
Yeah,
what they're built for. It's not a boat you're retrofitting to
yeah.
try and do a party. It's
I
a
thought no
boat that,
strings was a party boat.
It was retrofitted for a party.
yeah. So they created it, they
They
turned it
created
into
it
a
for
party
it.
boat. But
I see.
again, so it's not something you're retrofitting, but it's something that you actually created for that experience, for the
Gotcha.
best kitchen experience on the water.
Yeah, no,
Right?
but
So
you know,
there's
like
a
we said
void.
earlier, I think a lot of what we're talking about is like we talk about Dominica being behind, like in general, like, and I think we're behind in this whole thing. But the good part about that is that you can look and see what other people
The
are doing, see
opportunities.
how
What
you
I,
can apply
yeah.
it to you where it's making sense. And we're still in our infancy. There's lots of room and opportunity to grow with the right focus. And I think the growth can happen very quickly with the right focus, you know. So it's just a matter of applying what we know.
Is gonna need you're gonna need the support. The private sector definitely needs the support from not just the government and DDA realizing that okay you need to improve the overall product and experience for the patrons, but the corporate community also needs to come on board because a lot of these events, as you know, it's not cheap to put on. And what happens too, so I'll give you an example. We had the postmortem yesterday, and a lot of the other events, they were talking about, okay, they have the pageant on this day, and then you have a Freeney's Carnival opening. So you have a village opening where people know they can go for free, they can get triple K, they can get signal, they can get this fantastic experience. But then you have the private sector investing their hard-earned dollars into actually producing a product that you have to pay for, but yet you have a village opening on that same time slot. So these are things too that you need to sit down before the season and plan because what happened, like there was a calendar that was released and then later on, you just see all these other village openings that probably weren't on that day last year. They changed their date, but nobody knew. So what happened? You were planning events around what was on the original calendar, maybe say last year, and then this year, all of a sudden, wow, you're competing with a village opening. So that can also affect the private sector because again, these things cost money to put on. So when you have like the government having a competing event at the same time for free, that's something that I think the government needs to focus on because it's everybody plays a role, has a role to play in improving the carnival product. And if they're doing these sorts of village openings at the same time that you have an event that people are actually invested in, then it can lead to problems, you know. And so
Yeah.
I think we just need to look at the overall calendar a year ahead of time, not 6 months, not 4 months leading up, but we need to get together from now to plan for 2026 and see how we can improve the overall
Yeah,
product.
I fully agree. I fully agree. I mean, even like how excited people are about like how Viva went. One of the conversations we had is like, what if we just put tickets on sale now? It's just like people would be like open to that. That way, you just start the conversation. I'm coming back next year. You know, I'm
Yes,
coming. I'm going to do it again.
So to your point again, so as you know, Rise and Wine is October. After Viva ended, you know, we are getting texts when Rise and Wine early goods going on sale.
Drop it.
And we're
Drop
like,
it.
yo,
Drop
yeah, and
money
it.
not.
I think that is something that you guys raise a very valid point. That is something that I feel constantly we've kind of lacked on in terms of when like I know like when Curl Festival launched, when Curl Festival, that's when you heard about Carnival, you know, like when you should be hearing like I want to hear about Carnival now.
You have to get people addicted.
Now, like I want to hear
Like,
about Carnival now.
when people planning like Trinidad Carnival, right? People buying tickets for Trinidad Carnival in February, March, April. Now, like right now, people buying the tickets for
Now.
next year.
But
And
people,
then
but people have to. You see, people have to book their time off from work,
no, no, no,
right?
no, 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 no,
People
no,
have
no,
to
no,
book,
no, no.
No, they
People
have
book
that
the
early.
same tickets,
right?
then
I mean, it's obvious that that's what they're doing,
like they booking it when it coming online. Like
right?
they are booking it.
Right. So people want to be able to tap into certain things right now.
Well,
Like
let me tell you,
I remember we going to Atlanta Carnival 2 years ago. And I remember we had so many tickets to events. We couldn't even go to everything because we planned this and we know we were gonna go. And we were just getting like, I mean, besides the fact that I have a lot of connections in Atlanta and I was getting like VIP tickets packaged for like all events, but we wanted to have options. So we had all of these tickets and we didn't go to half of what we had tickets.
you have to change the mindset, right? Like let's look at some of the events that Damien and myself are producing. Viva la Carnival. The lineup for Viva la Carnival was announced 3 weeks before the event.
Mhm.
People were coming to Viva for Viva, period. End of story.
They didn't care who it was.
Correct. When we produce Rise and Wine, the lineup is announced late. When we produce World Creole Music Festival VIP, our VIP tickets are selling out. They're selling, people are buying because they know that they're getting a good experience. They know that we're putting the care
Yeah, people come for the experience and not just the lineup.
into what they're getting, you know. So that's the kind of mindset that we need to have. We need to make sure that we build a cult like following for the types of things that we're producing. And this is how we get the word of mouth promote. There's nothing like you can buy Facebook ads, radio ads, you can do how much TV PR announcement. That doesn't people need to tell other people buy this, let's go, it's amazing. That's what sells tickets.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, and I think that is a good way to wrap up this evening. We've been
Hey,
on
hold
here.
on, you running us? We done?
We've
It's
been
only
here for 3 hours.
we haven't reached midnight yet. What happened?
Like, what are you talking about? This is supposed to be 2 hours long, and we've been here an extra hour. I mean, at the end of the day, the joy of doing this and going as long as we want is it's on my platform. I don't have to wait for another program to start, right? So that's the joys of it.
But the
But
fact not coming after us be good.
there are people who've been on from the start. If you've been on the start from the start, put your thumbs up in the chat. We've had a lot of comments. People have been commenting. People have been agreeing. People have been disagreeing. I just want to big up the sponsors for sponsoring this broadcast. So big up to NCCU, the National Cooperative Credit Union, Astafans, as well as Heal and Grow. For sponsoring this event. I just want to really say thanks to them, for really continuing to show their support to my on my platform. But a lot of folks were chiming in, a lot of folks were sharing. I tend to take a lot of comments during the show, but it just felt like because it's a panel, it wasn't really a one-on-one, it would have been harder to. I just really want to acknowledge some of those that were coming up, some of those who were there from the start. So people like Makaza, who's also an event a promoter out in Texas. Big events, let me tell you, been there, know about them. I tell you, I just do it. So, he's been commenting, and sharing his views on there. People like Shans, John Baptiste, Leticia Butler came on and spoke about, especially when Mickey was discussing. People like Tara, who's been to. Tara is like me. We go to a lot of fans. We party. We've been partying. Like I swear, probably I will be 70 and partying still because I love to do it, and I've made it kind of my job. So it works. It works hand in hand. I'm working. What do you say?
I'll be there with you, Dory.
Of course, we're gonna be there with our stick. People have been sharing their views and sometimes agreeing and sometimes disagreeing. And I want to encourage all of you on the panel. You could always go back in the chat because some people directed things at you, and you may want to respond to them. They may be asking questions because you all operate in various capacities. Somebody might just want a designer for a dress, or they might just want to know when tickets are being launched for an event. If you guys have the time and the headspace to jump back on at some point and respond to a few people. Some people say that Viva La Carnival was awesome. Hello Damien, diasporas don't need 2 weeks easy, so don't have 2 weeks easy. So we're not like all you guys have whole month vacation on it, man. That's some Tara. So some folks are talking about focusing a lot on diasporans and also focusing not only on diasporans but just so focusing on visitors. There are thousands of foreigners that go carnival hopping, and you want Dominica to be part of the hub, right? The party boat inclusion. Some people were saying they love the idea of the party boat. Antigua, we didn't even think about. Antigua has boats, party boats. So Antigua might be a place that you can look into. I recall one specific party boat that I went on in Antigua. So that might be. I see Damon, you making notes? um, um, I mean, essentially, this was something that we put together very last minute. This is something that I spoke about even during the event. I wanted to do a post-mortem. I wanted to be able to, because sometimes I come on and I share my views, and people think, okay, Jael, like it's just your views. Or people agree, people disagree. But it almost feels like I'm operating in a silo, and I feel like other people have a voice and have an opinion. And I wanted to be able to bring this together so that other people can share their views, whether they agree with me or disagree with me. That's okay, but we can have a discourse around our events. This is things that we all do. We all are part of events in some way, shape, or form. We're contributing to events, or we're putting on events, or we're being part of events. And I feel like this was a really good discussion. A lot of things to note from what you guys, or to take note from what you guys have said and shared here tonight. And I want to say thank you very much to all of you for coming on during taking the time out of your schedules and coming on and sharing with the audience here this evening. I just want to give you guys an opportunity to have your final words. I'll start with Mickey to kind of give your final words before we log off.
Okay, well, I just want to say thank you again for having me on the program. I mean, I am not too versed in in the music industry and the whole carnival aspect, except in the fashion segments. But it was a really nice discussion, and I took in a lot from the experts here. I'm really thankful for that, and I just want to say yes, this year was really exciting, and I just hope that we keep the momentum and we only improve from there for next year. So thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, Mickey. Thank you for coming out. Dara.
Yeah, I think same here. It was a great discussion. I think it was really needed that a panel like that come together and discuss, review Carnival. I think that's the first time we ever have something like that happen. I think it's something that needs to continue happening, especially after major events in Dominica, because
Well, I'm gonna be reviewing
definitely. So
whether
yeah,
they want me to or not.
right. I mean, we are the platform, we can do it. You understand?
No, Dara, people say I'm a bully. I've been told I'm a bully.
Sometimes you like you're the best bully. Every other time,
But I'm gonna be there. Whether I get a free VIP or I am paid to be there, I'm gonna be there.
Yeah, man. But I think it's something that is needed after every major event that we have in Dominica, because that's how we can actually get we can freely speak on issues, speak on our experiences, and and we can have that banter, and we can agree and disagree and so on and so forth. What else? I think for me, I have to say this. Viva was a movie. I think that was the best event I went to in Dominica period to date. I reasons for that is because it reminded me of events that I went to in the US and in Trinidad. I never really had an experience like that in Dominica before. So like I said, fellas, boy, next year gonna be 3-4 times bigger than this year. So in spite of we talk about all kind of thing about all the constraints or whatever, just prepare for next year to be much bigger than this year, because remember the music is driving force, and I foresee Booyah dominating again this year. You understand? With new faces and new names coming on the scene, right? So we had to prepare. Also, another issue that we didn't touch on, I think that needs to be touched on, is access travel into Dominica, because I know a lot of people wanted to come and they couldn't even get space on the boat to come to Dominica. You understand? So that was an issue, and I
There's
didn't.
so many things that I wanted to talk about tonight. I also wanted to talk about the potential loss of our even culture to countries like Guadeloupe and
Oh,
Wuhan.
as for that.
Like I like we didn't even touch on that. Like this is something that I wanted to touch on because that is a valid. I mean, but if we stay here, we're gonna be here till midnight.
But
Um,
all of the points are valid. That's the thing. There's so much to talk about.
yes, definitely,
Yeah. So that's
definitely.
pretty much it. That's pretty much it. So I just want to thank you, Jael, for having me. I'm always available, to share my thoughts.
Thank you very much for accepting the invitation to be on here. Devin.
Yeah, no, I thought the panel was good. I think we had some pretty balanced discussions. We had different viewpoints. We were respectful of that. You see, and this is how business people operate. And I think you can see on this panel, it's full of business-minded people in the industry. So I hope this is an example for other people how you can respectfully disagree with people. Don't change the date of Carnival.
It'll flop.
No, me and
I
Jimmy,
give it a meme. Tomorrow it will flop. Dominica, right?
this is part of what makes some of our events so good is because we have these kinds of balanced discussions on our team about things that we agree and disagree about, and that way we can let the best idea win. Take egos and emotions out of it. Dada, I want to thank you as well for your praise of what we've done, and in return, as I said earlier in the program, I'm really happy that you were able to push your product through, and I'm happy you were able to withstand the pressure of the naysayers that it should not have happened. It needed to happen. We need to see more of it happen. In fact, the Dominica, what is it? The road marches with Skinny Fabulous. So Skinny Fabulous is just doing it on every island, bro. Like that is the guy. You want the road march?
But it's just skinny riding the booyah high.
I want to say that's another thing we need to talk about as well, the road match. Because we can't have an official road match in that kind of format. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You understand? So that is another conversation that needs to be had as well.
Oh Lord.
Definitely. There needs to be an official road match that is done by the authorities and not like voting. It has to be the same way they do it in Trinidad, the same way they do it with the Calypso road match. It needs to be done like that. So
but that's another problem, because remember now, if that is the case, then all songs gonna get disqualified, especially from the band.
Well, you see, that's the thing.
In fact, you can't sing your own song. That should be.
So on my platform, I actually did a vote on best band, and I mean, I know Emil them did their voting on thing. They had like 200 and something votes. I had over 1,500 people vote for who they felt was the best band. Like, and that was over a space of 10 hours.
But like what Dada said, there's a very valid point, because like in Calypso, for instance, or in Soca Road March and so on, you can't sing your own song. So if you're looking at the Buyo artists, the bands and so on, if it's gonna come from one of them, if they can't sing their own song, it doesn't make sense, right? So you have to find some other metrics to be able to pick the popular or the most popular song on the road. So it's maybe, well, remember when the bands crossing, so maybe it's that. But again, that's very limited because we have a limited amount of bands. So there has to be something. So that's a brainstorming session in itself. You need to bring all the stakeholders together and see what will basically rise to the top in terms of the.
I honestly think we should just make people vote. Just make everybody vote.
That's still.
Also, it could also be a very great way to market. Like if you do a good survey with like 3 questions and have people vote. 3 questions, and in addition to the questions, you give people the opportunity to vote. For who they felt dominated, and it would be, you could be collecting data that way, getting a sense of.
But yeah, you may have people voting that didn't even attend Carnival.
But that's okay, because you're giving people an opportunity. You're collecting information from people. You're
I think
utilizing
it has
that
to be
as
more scientific. I think it has to be more scientific than that. I mean, again,
possibly.
let's do a brainstorming session on that. That can take a whole day. But
Yeah.
definitely, we have to have a Booyah Road match. It doesn't make sense that Booyah
Devin,
Road.
Damien, before you continue, Devin, are you done?
I want to thank Dominica Festivals Committee for organizing and really bringing the carnival together and getting it out there. You know who else deserves some praise in this whole thing? Um, as we were talking about the music and everything else, big up to Roosevelt Scarrett for making that song AM to PM of Ridge. That really helped to shine a
I agree.
spotlight
110%.
on the business
On nasty business.
and to allow
It
them.
legitimized nasty business.
Well, he helped to streamline it, and then not only that, Ridge was able to prove to us that he's more than just that. He did the whole Creole album and all that stuff, like incredibly talented individuals showcasing themselves for Dominica and beyond. And we need to continue to do that, and that will only make our product better. So I think that there's just so much goodness that's happening. We need to, like you said, put more structure on it. I am doing my part to work with whoever wants to do serious business, and
I see you're not wasting time. You on my DMs. You on my live and you in the
I can
Devin
multitask.
is like, oh my god, Devin, like your fingers all over the place.
I'm hard to keep up with. I know it's hard, but oh, by the way, first time I'm ever meeting or speaking to Dada. Nice to meet you. And
Yeah, bro.
And Mickey as well,
You
yes.
serious? You serious? Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're all
I'm
gonna
gonna,
have to go
you
for
guys
drinks.
switch me up.
Yes. David, your final words.
So yeah, so again, I'd really like to thank you, JL, for the platform you've given all of us here tonight. I think it was a very, very healthy discussion. I think we need to have more of this. And when I say healthy, like Devin was saying, very respectful, agree to disagree. We're not going to agree on everything. Even within our teams, there's a lot of disagreements. But I just want to also big up everybody involved in the music industry, because Booyah is at another level right now. It has taken over the Caribbean, it can take over the world, but we need to continue to unite to build the music, and to improve even upon where we are now. There's a lot of room for improvement, like I said, the marketing of it, the branding of it. But I just want to big up all the music producers that are, big up yourself, Rich, Pudas, all the artists. I don't want to name names because I'm gonna forget
You
people.
start naming names, you're in
Boy,
problems.
Kenny G, Quan, Little Boy, Thriller, Shelly and Signal, like everybody doing their thing, and it's really amazing to see that how far the Booyah has reached, and you cannot forget the pioneers. So big up to the original CK, you have Serenade, RSB, everybody that really contributed
Okay,
to the money. You have PIK, you have like MFR, everybody doing things. You've even seen the resurgence of some of these bands. So it's really an exciting time to be involved in the event space, because the music, like Dada and David said, the music is what is driving the culture, it's driving the festivals. And I think there's only sky's the limit for the festival and for Carnival, even though we don't change the date. Um,
Because it will
really,
flop.
yeah, but I just want to give kudos and much respect to everyone. So DDA, DFC, Ministry of Tourism, everyone, all the authorities involved, all the other stakeholders, event producers, service providers. Without everyone, it wouldn't have been a successful carnival. So everyone had a role to play. So I just want to big up everyone. And again, thank you, JL. Thanks to all the other panelists for the healthy discussion. And I look forward to more discourse in the future.
Yes, I just want to say thank you very much to all of you, and thank you to like Amy said. I just want to reiterate you know, sometimes I do my lives and stuff. I think that I'm attacking. Like I don't. The purpose of this is never to attack anybody. It's always done out of love. Sometimes I get a little passionate because it's my country, and I feel like I do a lot of extra work on the outside, while promoting myself, promoting my country as well. So sometimes it can come across as oh, she too passionate about it, or I'm stretching it, a little bit too much. But it's always from a place of love. It's always from a place of wanting to see growth and development of my countrymen, my country, artists, musicians, entertainers. I like, there's absolutely no animosity. I have no, like when I say I like this person or I love this person, doesn't mean I don't like another person or anything. And I really appreciate the folks who follow me, and they really understand. Lisa said they'll deport me. That really follow me and understand that, it's coming from a place of love. So I want to really share my love and appreciation to like DFC and Discover Dominic Authority, because even with Olifier and all of they still continue to work, they still continue to build, and we've seen changes. Like, you said Damien, it's slow, it's coming to come, it's baby steps, but it's slowly coming there. And I think with more discourse like this, because I know they take tips, they take advice, from things, discussions like this, that we can have more. If we can have more of these kinds of dialogue, I believe we can help improve our product. It will not just benefit our country, but it will benefit our businesses, because we all have businesses that are reliant on the success of Discover Dominica's events, because we build our events around our events, as well as our entertainment around these events. So I just want to say thank you very much to them, for continuing the work and improving as they move forward. I want to say a big thank you to Bouillon Music, Bouillon Music to the world, because I mean, at the end of the day, one of the things that you guys, every single one of you, stated that the reason for the season, because Bouillon, that was the reason for the season. It was if the booyah was not in that broth, it was not happening, and it definitely made a significant difference to our experience, to our carnival, to the visitors, to the videos that came out of it, the TikToks. People were having TikToks about, oh, they're tired, they cannot believe, oh, Dominica, then they will be back. And it was, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I felt so good, when I saw those videos coming out from people who were complete strangers, people who were first time coming to Dominica. Some people, had never experienced carnival like this before, and hear them saying it, and I wanted to like send it to all my friends. I tell you guys that Dominica have the best carnival in the world. Like, I don't think I'm talking nonsense. But I really appreciate, what we have, and we can only get better, as long as we stay on a good path, and we continue to improve in our craft. Thanks to all of you for taking your time again. I truly appreciate you. Thanks to every single person who stayed on the live, who commented, who shared their views, who shared the live, because it's very important that you share this live so that other folks can get in on the action and get in on the conversation as well. Don't forget, you can review this on YouTube. So it sits there on YouTube. Facebook, after 30 days, Facebook it disappears. That's their new policy, but this will remain on YouTube if you would like to go back and view it. So thanks again to all of you. I'll say bye bye to my panelists for now, and hopefully we can touch base soon again and have another one of these.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye. All right, guys, that was it for this evening. Bianca said, big up to all the influencers. Yes, big up to our influencers who have been working hard, putting out content around Dominica and the events. Thanks again to you who tuned in. I truly appreciate you. If you've not followed and subscribed, please do so. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. A lot of my programming will be shifting to YouTube, because YouTube allows me to house my product for longer. Facebook, you no longer can do lives for more than 30 days. It goes off the platform after 30 days. And I want to encourage you guys to ensure that you subscribe so you can continue to view my programs, send the notifications when I go live. will immediately be notified. I want to say thanks to my faithful fans and followers. I truly appreciate all of you. Thanks to my sponsors, the National Cooperative Credit Union. Thank you to the Astifans, and thank you to Heal and Go. I'm saying good night for now, and I'll be back. See you guys next week, same time, same place. Bye for now.
NCCU, your community financial partner, brings to you Beyond the Mortgage.
Affordable rates, affordable price, NCCU, everything nice. Go do a course, go take a trip. Beyond the mortgage, 246. You take the mortgage already, to make your pocket go empty. Beyond the mortgage, NCCU will keep you steady. You need to buy a new fridge, you want to purchase a settee. Get rid of medical bills and invest in the green energy. Beyond the mortgage, beyond the mortgage, beyond the mortgage. Everything nice, beyond the mortgage, beyond the mortgage, beyond the mortgage. NCCU for life, 246, yes, 246, wow, 246.
Beyond the Mortgage, 2% savings, 4% retirement solutions, loans available at 6%, and our special BTM line of credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Heal & Go is an all-natural hair care and skincare company founded in 2021 by our CEO, Jael Burney. Just a girl looking for natural products to enhance her hair and skin, Heal & Go was born. Heal & Go started with the Shea Rosemary Hair Moisturizer, the flagship item, which is every girl's dream of a moisture-locking, detangling hair dressing. This can be used when braiding the hair or twisting the hair. The African Black Soap Shampoo made with African Black Soap and Marshmallow Root is a deep cleansing shampoo. It is coupled also with the Aloe Vera Leave-In Conditioner, which is made of aloe vera, coconut oil, and it is the hydrating ingredient needed when keeping up a wash and go. Our next item is the Revitalizing Scalp Treatment, which is made of 13 different essential and carrier oils to enhance the scalp, help with scalp issues, and also help with hair growth. We added items like rose water to our line, and rose water can be used on the hair and on the skin. On the hair as a refresher and on the skin as an astringent or helping with makeup. Other items include the hair jelly, which helps with keeping the edges intact and keeping away frizz from the hair. We also have hydrating hair milk, which is like a moisturizer for the hair. And all these items can be found in bundles on our website, or they are also sold separately in different sizes to enhance your varying hair care needs. You can find our product at healandgo.com. We also carry a skincare line, as you see our face scrub, made of bicarbonate of soda, anise, raspberry extract, pineapple fruit extract, kaolin clay. We also have a oil cleanser, which is made of tangerine oils, grapefruit oil, lemon oils, all to cleanse the skin and keep the skin looking glowing. We also have the face moisturizer, which is an added to our skincare line. It includes aloe vera juice, almond oils. We also have the scrub, and all of these can also be found in bundles on our website. You can buy them separately, you can buy them in bundles, you can make a gift set out of those to your loved ones. We have also included for the men, not forgetting them, the men's beard oil. Check out our website for all these products.